There we go. Let's get this started. Good morning, everybody. How are we doing today? Today I have Ami here to my right, or it looks like he's left on the screen. So we're going to be doing a live set review here on Guilds of Ravnica, I believe, Ami?
Yep.
Yeah. So, all right. So before we get into the set review, I wanted to do if you could walk us through some form of new and returning mechanics from the set, if you know them off the top of your head.
So all of the mechanics are new except for Convoke, which is returning to the SalAmmi guild.
Correct. So we had Convoke back in the original Ravnica, correct?
Yes.
So we had Convoke in the original Ravnica, which lets you use your creatures to tap for mana, pretty much.
Yep.
Yeah. So certain spells, like the most notable one is Court of Calling. Court of Calling lets you use green creatures and other colored creatures to court and search for another creature. So you'll be seeing cards like that. Some of the newer mechanics are
Jumpstart, Undergrowth, Surveil, and Mentor.
Okay, and each one of those coincides with one of the guilds.
Yes.
Okay, so we'll see the guilds and let you know them off the top of your head. I know Surveil is for
Surveil's Dimir, Mentor's Boros, and then Golgari's Undergrowth, and Izzet's Jumpstart.
There you go. So with that said, we're going to start pulling up some images here on screen, and we'll start starting a quick little set review. Is there anything you want to add before we start?
I think we're mostly going to be focusing on Standard, but if anything is worth mentioning for Limited, Modern, EDH, we'll mention that as well.
Correct. And that's mainly because, like we want to try to cover as many bases as possible. Try to fix that camera a little. There you go. Now we're a little bit more even. All right. So I do have all the current spoilers pulled up here right now. I downloaded them last night. They are in alphabetical order. So we're going to try to skip some stuff if it's not really that important. Everything else, we will keep it here. So first one we have. Here we
make
go.
that a little bigger. Yeah.
Bam. There you go. Right in front of us.
So Affectionate Indrik. When it enters the battlefield, you may have it fight target creature you don't control. It is a 6 mana 4/4.
It's okay, right? Limited, it's fine.
Yep.
It helps you kill stuff. I don't think it's worth anything for Standard. Modern, it doesn't really check off anything worth noting. Correct?
Yep, pretty much just a limited card. Although, an interesting anecdote, this is originally Fatal Push. And look at that art.
Oh, yeah, that's really cool. It is Fatal Push. What if this was this original art?
Nah, I'm screwing with you.
God,
but it's totally a Fatal Push, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it looks just like a Fatal Push. I mean, the art's fucking dope. Let's pull up the next card here and grow it up.
Arboretum Elemental. So it is a 9 mana 7/5 with Convoke and Hexproof.
So token-based strategies, you can take this out for a lot cheaper than you actually wanted to. Hence, it does have the Convoke mechanic.
So cost-reducing effects are usually very good, and I don't like to discount any of them. However, this is probably not good enough.
Nah.
It's so expensive, and it doesn't have any way of pushing through, and the stats are good, but not great.
Okay.
So
it's
probably also just a limited card.
It's a very medium card, pretty much, right?
Yep.
Just trying to check to make sure our stuff is showing up. All right, let's go through the alphabets. The Phoenix.
Arclight Phoenix. 3 red, flying haste 3/2. At the beginning of combat on your turn, if you've cast 3 more instants and or sorceries this turn, you can return it from your graveyard to the battlefield.
That's not too bad. Let me know what you think about this.
It's a spell that you never want to cast, and you always want to return from your graveyard, and I suspect that it is not good enough in Standard, but could be potentially good enough in Modern because you have enough cheap spells there to where you can reliably cast it, especially Monomorphos.
Right. You have like Monomorphos or like a Storm strategy.
In Standard, just the spells, everything is generally higher cost. You don't have access to the wide range of Modern cards that allow you to play a bunch of cheap spells.
Right. All right. So.
And if you don't return it, it's a Snare Thopter, which we saw in Kaladesh and never got played anywhere.
Yeah, it did not see any play. With that said, let's move on to the quick little next one here. It is a
Artful Takedown, which is a 4 mana blue and black instant that lets you choose one or both. Tap target creature, or target creature gets -2, -4 until end of turn.
So it's a worse agony. Warping Agony.
Yep, and it's just a limited card, and that's it. Nothing worth discussing here.
I do love the art. That's about it.
Yep.
This card. This card's. I don't know. I think this card's pretty bad. It destroys a permanent and gives your opponent
you get your
a basic
opponent's a
land.
land. Why would you want that?
Why would anybody want to ramp anybody up? Like this card's just trash. Let's just get rid of it.
Yep.
All right, now it's Ass Trophy. Obviously, this is the big hype card that everybody's been talking about. We will spend a little bit more time on this card here. So, Ami, I'll let you start with this.
Okay, so it is definitely the best card in the set and one of the best cards ever made. It is going to redefine a bunch of older formats and will be played everywhere. It'll be played in basically every format that it's legal in. I do not think, as many people have speculated, that it suddenly makes Sultai a
Viable
playable deck in Modern. I don't think it adds anything to that deck that wasn't already missing.
Mm-hmm.
That deck is really... It's hard to exactly put your finger on what Sultai is missing as a color, but this card doesn't add anything.
Just Sultai, correct?
Yeah.
So my thought about it was like Sultai always needed some form of terminate effect, and with that, like Ass Trophy does kind of fill in that spot. But it could just be that like it's just not good enough. Like Fatal Push, Ass Trophy. What is the other like card that can fit in there? Maelstrom Pulse. Like those things just might not be good enough.
Yeah, Sultai already had access to Pulse, Hero's Downfall, and Fatal Push, and none of that made the color combination viable.
Right.
And this card is obviously more flexible than that, but it's still, I don't think, doing anything to push that color into those colors into being good. And you're just missing too much from losing red or white. White gives you access to all the best sideboard cards and Lingering Souls, and red gives you Bolt and Bloodbraid Elf and Kolaghan's Command and a number of other things. And Sultai doesn't really have any blue-green or blue-black spells that you're sorely missing from the Jund Abzan decks.
Yeah. So now onto the Jund and Abzan part of this. This does make those decks better.
It does make them better. It is not a Tron killer.
Correct.
It is good that you have an answer to like Ugin or Karn that isn't Hero's Downfall, but again, you can't just shoot their Tron lands and win. If you shoot their Tron lands, they go grab a forest, and then if you're not putting any pressure on them, they will eventually just reach their cards naturally.
Correct. That was my idea behind it. Like it's fine, and it will slow them down. But like you mentioned earlier, you need a clock. Like you need this card plus a clock. The same way after sideboard, you need Fulminator Mage plus a clock.
Yeah, like Mardu Pyromancer versus Tron. Just playing Blood Moon doesn't win you the game.
Correct. They can still go Worm Coil, Ugin, and you're still just dead. We might revisit this card in a little bit. So
I'm also a little surprised that this name got through creative.
Assassin's Trophy.
They didn't consider that people would just abbreviate it to Ass Trophy.
Correct. Like nobody's gonna go assassinate your thing.
Yeah.
Or trophy. It'll be Ass.
Yep.
Like,
so we've bolted, pushed, and decayed things. Now we get to ass things.
Yeah, I'm gonna ass the hell out of you later. All right, let's go with our first split card of the set that we found here. Well, first alphabetical order.
And through the magic of technology, can we rotate that so we don't have to break our necks to read it?
I mean, I think you're asking for too much right now. I actually can't rotate it.
Should be on the...
I'll rotate it on the original file.
Yep.
Rotate to the right. Delete current. Did it disappear?
I think so.
Good job, Sal. Sort by name. Did we just delete the fuck out of this?
Try to undo or go to the trash to see if you put it there. Well, we got it on screen. Let's just read it here.
Let's just...
So, side number one, assure or assemble. I think or is the correct
way to say
the
this.
naming convention. We've had and two. I think or is the correct one now.
Okay, or.
So we've got assure, which is
put a
double green and white hybrid. Put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. That creature gains indestructible until end of turn. Or assemble, which is 6 mana and green and white. Create 3 2/2 green and white knight, elf knights with vigilance.
This isn't too bad. I like this card. It doesn't really do anything amazing, but it's like it's hard to just call this like a bad card.
It's not bad. I don't think it's good enough for constructed though. It's
No,
not
no.
doing anything that great.
Limited is just good early game to finish it off, or late game to just like dump a bunch of guys on board.
Yep.
So cards not too bad. Let's go ahead and say goodbye to this card now, since this card I love. This is one of my, we've been test playing with this card in a Boros build. Aurelia, Exemplar of Justice. Flying Menace. Sorry, not Menace. Mentor. A little bit better than Menace. At the beginning of your at the beginning of combat on your turn, choose up to one target creature you control. Until end of turn, target creature gets +2/+0, gains trample if it is red, and gains vigilance if it's white. So if you target herself, she'll be a 4/5 vigilance trampler.
Yes.
And you target other things, assuming you're in the same colors, you'll be able to get these effects. She has an added bonus of Mentor, which lets you put a +1/+1 counter on another attacking creature you control. Well, with lesser power.
Yes.
And so like that's been the part that like been kind of confusing. If you have two things that are the same power, you can't mentor one. Now, and then let's say you have two triggers for mentor for two different things. It's harder. Like even if you put things on the stack, only one of them will resolve.
Yeah.
Because once everything becomes a 2.
Mentor is a very low power mechanic, and I don't think you evaluate any cards based on them having Mentor. They have to already be good enough, and then Mentor is just like a tiny bonus. Because the ability to... You're asking a lot from it. You're asking that you have two different creatures on board, one of which has Mentor more power than the other creature, and that you're able to attack with both, and neither of them are removed or blocked in combat detrimentally.
Correct. With that said, I think this card is just fine.
It's also interesting to know that you can find it with Militia Bugler, although I think Bugler is a vastly overrated card and does not fit into the kinds of aggressive Boros decks that are going to be played.
Correct. I think this card's fine, though. This should see some play here.
It's also probably worse than Rekindling Phoenix.
I mean, yeah, probably.
Because Rekindling Phoenix is just stupidly good.
Yeah, and it just comes back because it's a busted-ass card.
Yep.
So we have a common here.
Yeah. Barging Sergeant, which is a 5-mana red haste mentor 4/2.
Limited, fine. Everything else... Wait, you can't thumbs up.
Yep.
Limited, fine. Everything else is just whatever.
It's not even like good and limited either.
5 mana for a 4/2 haste mentor?
It's just like going to die to anything.
Yeah, it dies to shock.
It dies to bears that are all over limited.
Yeah. It dies to Ass Trophy.
Yeah, anything dies to Astrophy, unplayable.
Yeah, unplayable. Like, why run basic lands at this point? We have a 1-drop defender. When Barrier of the Bones enters the battlefield, Surveil 1. I mean, I don't think it's not like anything special.
No,
That's pretty good.
Card is so just mediocre. Like,
check out that art though.
Yeah, pretty cool.
That's really cool.
It's got this like skeletal Dimir look to it.
Yeah.
But the only thing it has going for it is Surveil 1, and the rest of the cards meh.
Yeah, like I rather run the Stitcher. That makes you like mill 3, and then it dies and you mill 3 again.
Yep.
I might as well run that. We have a really bad card here.
It's okay and limited. Next.
It dies to Ass Trophy though.
Yeah. I would like a basic land over that card.
Yeah. All right, Beacon Bolt.
Beacon Bolt, 1 blue-red sorcery, deals damage to target creature equal to the number of instant and sorcery cards you own in exile and in your graveyard, and it has Jumpstart.
What do we think?
It's shockingly bad.
Mm-hmm.
It's 3 mana sorcery speed. You have to have a bunch of spells in your graveyard or exiled to do anything with it in the first place.
But you can discard another instance or sorcery spark.
Yeah.
Just jumpstart it.
So if you want to spend an additional card in 6 mana, you can play a bad card twice.
Yeah, totally worth it. Totally won't get punished for stuff like that. Our next card here, we have Beam Splinter Mage. Whenever you cast an instance or sorcery spell that targets only Beam Splinter Mage, if you control one or more other creatures that spell could target, choose one of those creatures, copy that spell. The copy targets the chosen creature. I feel like they added way too much text there, but it explains. It gets it done, right?
So the problem with this is that typically the spell that you want to copy that's targeting a creature is a pump spell, and then you're playing like an is it pump deck, which doesn't work. So the alternative is to try to get some kind of value out of it by playing cantrips that also target creatures, but then you're just like contorting your deck into this awful janky combo that's never going to come together.
No. What was the cantrip that you can run? The red one from. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's.
I'm sure there's plenty of like
Expedite.
1 mana target a creature, draw a card.
Yeah,
things.
target creature. It gains haste, draw a card, kind of thing. I don't think it's that.
It's just a synergy that's never going to come together. You're going to play it in limited for just being a bear, and then if it happens to have any synergy with anything, that's fine.
Then it's fine. All right, this card is great. Whenever you cast a creature spell, draw a card. It is also an elf. All right. What do we think about this card in Modern?
It's probably too expensive.
Too expensive in elves?
Yes, because obviously people want a Glimpse of Nature this thing, but Glimpse of Nature was 1 mana and this is 4, which means you're probably not going to be able to go off in 1 turn. You'll probably have to fade it over 2 turns in order to have any sort of Nettle Sentinel, Hermit Druid, or Heritage Druid combo with it.
I mean, is the cost worth the risk of playing it?
The only way that you can do it in 1 turn is you have to have Heritage Druid plus the Nettle Sentinels plus an Elvish Archdruid, so you have enough mana to play this and play something else.
Okay.
But it's interesting, certainly.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. I think it's worth testing if you're out there playing elves. Let us know what you think about in the comments below.
There's also the potential to run it plus like Memnite Ornithopter, pick up all your stuff, play them all again, draw cards.
That's true.
The fact that it draws you cards by just casting the creatures and you don't have to do anything else. It's not like whenever you cast a creature, pay 1 or whatever, which is the problem that cards like Mentor the Meek have.
Yep. All right. Interesting card. I like it. Should be limited. It should be fine.
It also absolutely does not look like an elf.
No. He looks like he's ready to fight.
Yep.
For 3 mana, you get a 3/1 creature with Mentor. Pretty vanilla.
Next.
Yeah. Vanilla. It's a human, Ami. We should talk about humans.
Yep.
Every time anything on humans gets spoiled, you should always consider running it in humans. Play tested against this card. Really good.
Yeah, so Blood
Card's
Operative
really
is a 3 mana lifelink creature, 3/1. Whenever it enters the battlefield, you may exile target card from a graveyard, and whenever you surveil, if it's in your graveyard, you can pay 3 life to return it to your hand.
So, while test playing against it, it was in a blue-black Surveil deck, which wasn't too bad. The problem with the card was it dies to Chain Whirler. Like,
yep.
That's still a problem that people are gonna have to understand. Like, all these X1s are great and they're fine, but they're still dying to Chain Whirler. Even the graveyard effect that it has to recur itself after you Surveil, it's fine, but it's never just good enough. Like, if this was on a 3/2 body, I think this would just be like amazing. So
on the other hand, it has a free effect from the graveyard.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty dope.
And it has lifelink. It's not too bad if you have to just play it.
Yeah, if you play it to chump block, like, you're fine. You'll live. You know.
I have no idea why it exiles things from graveyards.
Maybe you just want to get rid of like jumpstart cards.
It's just like the design of the creature. It's like this lifelink thing that comes back from the graveyard, but then it exiles stuff.
Yeah.
That the second line to me screams they had development problems, and they just needed
it was a rare for no reason.
And they probably play tested this card a ton, and then they just said like the Dimir mirror matches need to exile things, so they just tacked it onto this.
That's fair. That's a good argument. All right, let's move over to our next card.
Book Devourer.
Oh god, I don't know why I saw this and I thought it was like great. It's just like, Mom, I'm trying to do my homework. No.
6 mana, trample 4/5. When it deals combat damage to a player, you may discard all your cards and draw that many. It's not good. Anywhere.
I like it. Limited.
It's
just sandbag your life.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it's for 6 mana for 4. It's 4/5 body. It's medium.
Yep.
Moving over to another card that I really like.
Boros Challenger is a 2 mana red and white 2/3 with Mentor, and it has 4 mana. It gets +1/+1 until end of turn.
So if you have a board of 2/2s and you want to like trigger this mentor ability, you just pump it and you attack. I think it's a great card. It's a 2-mana 2/3 body. Like, what more can you ask for there?
I think it is not a great card. I think it is a card that will serve as filler for a Boros deck if you really need 2-drops. Although it feels like there have to be just better options than this.
Well, we'll keep an eye out for the 2-drop slots. Like the Boros builds, they have like the
problem because the abilities are so bad on this card. Like Mentor is not good, and then pink 4 mana to give it +1 is also really bad.
Yeah, but like pair this up with Legion War Boss or Legion's Landing. Like turn 1 Legion's Landing, turn 2 this, and then
that's
Legion's
still
War
not
Boss.
even good.
Like, it's still not fast.
Like you play this and you play this after the, let's say you go Landing and then turn 2 this and you attack for 1 if you even can, and then next turn you're gonna turn your Lifelinker into a 2/2 on turn 3. That's okay. And if you pair it with War Boss, it doesn't even do anything.
It helps grow the token.
But the War Boss already grows the token.
Yeah, but not on the turn it enters.
Okay, sure. So it grows the token for a turn.
Yeah.
The turn it enters, I guess.
Yeah, and then from there, I don't know. I like you said, it's a good filler for the 2-drop slot. I feel the 2-drop slots are, I want to say weak in the set, but in all honesty, I haven't even looked at the set myself. So we will be moving on.
It's also human.
It's also human, boys. This will cover, I guess, all the gates because I don't want to go through all the colors.
Yeah, they're fine mana fixing in limited. In standard, you really don't want to play them, but you probably have to in certain decks just to fill out your color requirements.
Correct. And as of right now, September 22nd, there is nothing that really cares for the gates.
There's a few cards. I don't think any of them are that good, but
right. So this will cover.
They're okay.
Yeah, this will cover the gates. They're just fine.
I don't know why there's 2 arts for every gate because they're like cover because each of the guilds or something gets one of them.
And this is the same gate.
Yeah.
Yep. So 2 arts for them. Limited.
Yeah.
If you need if you need to fix your colors, go for it. It's not too bad. This is another card here that's gonna cover
all the lockets.
All the lockets. Lockets. Hey, we got something for Pauper, boys.
So they are 3 mana artifact rocks that generate the colors that their guild is, and then they have 4 hybrid mana to sack and draw 2. I was kind of disappointed that they didn't have unique effects for each guild.
For each one, like they're like the Demir should have been just for the draw. Boros
like one of them could have been draw 2, and then each of them had, because the thing is, you're much more likely to play ramp cards in certain colors. So if you're playing them in the other colors, you want to tailor the effects to the kinds of strategies that those colors want. So obviously, if you're playing these types of cards, you are in a ramp deck, but by definition, they have to be doing different things because they're different colors.
Like go so do all of them, a creature back to your hand.
Yeah, do all of them want to have the same effect? Probably not. Like if you're in a Boros ramp deck, I imagine that deck probably has to be either some weird combo deck or like a big creature deck.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think they could have made these more interesting.
Yep. So EDH playable, limited playable, Pauper playable. I can see some of these like entering the weird Pauper stuff.
Is mana fixing good enough in Pauper for these quadruple hybrid costs?
Yeah, people run. Oh yeah, the other ones. I mean, for the draw effect, it might be worth it for some people. Also, don't play Pauper. It's such a bad format.
Yeah. I know that may get some dissenting opinions, but so my problem with Pauper is there's just a lot of effects that you need in Magic, like wraths, and you just don't get any of that in Pauper. And the games are all these like, it feels like you're playing like, so I have a junk cube where I just take the worst cards in Magic and I put them into a cube, but that's the joke,
right? Like, you're not trying to do anything fancy.
The games are fun because you're playing like all of these atrocious cards and trying to get these horrible combos to get together, and you're going to like turn 10 and killing people with, I give my wall +10/+0 and then allow it to attack you with this other card and attack you, and you're still not dead, but you're taking damage. But Pauper is just like the worst of all worlds. And yes, you can play certain ban cards like Gush, but for the most part, the cards are all terrible.
Right. Yeah, I think it's. I don't think it's worth it. I've been punishing people for playing Pauper with my deck. So, next over, Bounty Agent. It's essentially a bear with vigilance, and you sacrifice it and destroy target. Look, Ami, it's a human.
Yep.
Yeah.
You can destroy legendary permanents with it. I was a bit taken aback at first that it can't hit planeswalkers, although I gather that... I mean, white can technically hit anything, but I guess it's not supposed to hit planeswalkers in general. The effect is way too narrow.
I'm sleepy. Yeah, I think it's way too narrow. People who were hyped about this being a human to go in the modern humans build, it's just all right. The problem is you need too many things to go right in order for this to go through. Like, one, it needs to be creature, artifact, enchantment, and it needs to survive on tapping.
Yeah.
So
and
we already had Magus, which is the Magus where you exile a card with it. Tap, exile.
You mean Mangara?
No. It's one of the Maguses.
All right, well.
You exile itself and another permanent.
Yeah, that's Mangara.
Okay, yeah, there you go. Like, you have that. Might as well just run that, you know?
Well, this thing, so the only way I can see this getting played is very specific standard metagame.
Okay.
Like, there's a deck that either has an abundance of these types of permanents that are also legendary that you can destroy, or it has one specific legendary permanent that this can hit that you really need to hit in the matchup.
So, sideboard card.
But yeah, but otherwise this card looks bad.
Right. I totally agree. Stop messaging me just because it's a human, people. Card's bad. You should feel bad. This is amazing. Imagine this in Infect, dude. You get to pump like multiple targets, dude, 3 times.
Yeah, you just have to get into a scenario where you're playing Infect and it's turn 6 and you're not dead.
Yeah. Easy. Easy. All right.
6 mana. Target creature gets +3 and repeat it twice.
3 times. Oh yeah, 2 more times. I don't think it's gonna.
Card is so incredibly bad.
Yeah. Limited, I guess. If you're in a token
still
strategy.
So bad.
You think this is bad in limited?
It's like you can kind of use it as an overrun. So, okay, so let me take that back. It's not bad in limited, but it is far worse than other overrun effects.
Look at that art.
It's 6 mana. It doesn't give trample. It doesn't pump your whole team. It only pumps 3 creatures.
Yeah. Look at that elephant, though. It just looks majestic as fuck. Yeah, whatever. The card's bad. The art's great. There's like a lot of Magic cards, right?
Yep. Burglar Rat.
Damn.
2 mana, 1/1. When it enters, each opponent discards a card.
Limited? Hell yeah. I love this card. I love these ETB effects with like discards and limited.
Yeah, it's okay.
I think, yeah, but like they help you throughout the game, like build
if you're playing this in limited, I think you want like some kind of sacrifice ability to make it worthwhile, because the 1/1 body is not good enough to justify playing it.
Right, okay, that's fair. I mean, I do like, we'll talk about the sacrifice card that I do like in the set soon. Oh baby. Oh, this isn't the card. Dang. I got a little too hyper that this was something else. Let's start with the art. Bam, amazing.
Yep.
You can't see me thumbs up because the card's in the way. You gain X life and draw X cards, where X is the number of creatures you control. Creatures you control get +1/+1 until end of turn.
Card is way too expensive.
Yeah. I mean, I hope some of these cards prove us wrong. Like an Obzon tokens build with this would be just amazing.
Nah, it's way too expensive.
Way too expensive
for this. You have to have multiple creatures. You have to have enough creatures in play to where this is useful, which probably means you have to have at least 4 creatures, and get 6 mana and play this with nothing being killed.
True.
And then even then, you're not doing anything amazing. You're just drawing some cards.
You're just drawing cards, sure. Bam. I know you like your enchantment pump spells unlimited. So this card limited, good. Everything else, I don't think it's worth or we'll see any kind of play.
I don't even think it's that good in limited.
Why? Because it's 4.
It's 4 mana and you're not getting evasion. You're not getting flying, menace, trample, anything to push through the creature.
Following that bread strategy, right?
Yep.
Anybody unaware of what bread is? Ami can fill you guys in.
Bombs, removal, evasion abilities, and dudes.
That's how you draft. All right, we have a 4-drop enchantment here. The enchantment does have flash. Enchant creature. When it enters the battlefield, tap enchanted creature. Enchanted creature doesn't untap during its controller's untap step. I think it's whatever. I think it's fine.
It's kind of it's like a blue removal spell if you somehow don't have access to white removal spells in your control deck. But not being able to get the creature off the board is a really big downside.
Yep. you just kind of keep it there.
So it strikes me as limited only.
Yeah. Centaur Peacemaker, another amazing art. We're in the green-white other. When it enters the battlefield, each player gains 4 life, and it's a 3/3 body.
I have no idea why this makes your opponent gain life.
Because you're trying to be nice on me.
Yeah, well, it's fine in limited, I guess.
I don't know. I
It could
wouldn't want my
potentially be a
opponent-
sideboard card, but the problem is Knight of Autumn that we're going to talk about later is just a better
just
version
so
of
much
that.
better. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is our X artifact of the set. We've had, what were the previous ones? Hangerback Walker and Walking Ballista.
And every time...
I guess we're getting this guy now.
Well,
Chamber
I'll speak about
Sentry.
that in a bit. Let's say what it does. So it's X. It's a 0/0. It enters with +1 counters equal to the number of colors that you spent to cast it, so not X. And then it has X tap, remove X counters from it. It deals X damage to any target. And then it has pay all 5 colors of mana, return it from your graveyard to your hand. And every time one of these X spells gets previewed, like Hangerback Walker and Ballista, everyone always underestimates how good they are.
Yeah.
And they turn out to be amazing. And this card is
overhyped.
Is rightfully bad.
Yeah.
Because the X is not your mana, it's the number of colors. So it's capped.
So late game, if you only have 3 colors, guess what? It only comes in with 3.
Yeah. So it is capped, and it also, I mean, you're probably not playing a deck that has 4+ colors in it. So it's probably a 3-power creature at best.
And then the effect is not even worth it.
And the effect, yeah, and so Ballista, you could just remove the counters and shoot things immediately. This thing, you have to tap and pay mana in order to remove the counters. And then the last ability is just way too expensive and difficult to use to have any sort of value.
And a Dice Ass Trophy.
Yep.
Bam.
Chance for Glory.
Chance for Glory. I hope this card sees some kind of play.
So
I really do.
So it's a 1 red-white instant. Creatures you control gain indestructible forever.
Yeah.
Take an extra turn after this one. At the beginning of that turn's end step, you lose the game. And the problem is, so these cards, there's always, not always, there's often these types of effects. The get an amazing ability and then lose the game.
Yeah.
Cards, and they're almost never playable.
Right.
This
But
card
you
is
can
good
use
enough that it could see play.
Sundial. I hate people.
You need an incredibly aggressive deck for this to be good.
know.
You need, like, your deck basically has to cap out at 3 mana creatures, and they just have to be haste and go, attack your opponent as fast as possible.
And do it like when History Benevolent already like triggered off something.
Yeah.
So
I don't think it's good enough. Although if you're going to play these types of cards, you want to maximize on the number of at the beginning of triggers, so you can get multiple of them.
mm-hmm. Hope the card sees play. Probably won't.
Have you tested it at all?
Nope. I'm not gonna touch that. I'll let somebody I'll let a better player than myself try it, and then I'll take credit for it, obviously.
Yep.
3 mana 4/4 trample. At the beginning of your upkeep, exile a creature card from your graveyard. If you do, put a +1/+1 counter on Charno Troll.
Carnal Troll.
Carnal Troll. Otherwise, sacrifice it. So you get a good sized body with the downside of having to have things in your graveyard to exile.
And it has black and green, discard a creature card, put a +1 counter on it.
Yep. So, I mean, it's pretty straightforward. Graveyard strategy base, obviously. Like, the builds have to go around this. Maybe even Sultai could probably use this because it does have, like, a lot of... Like, the Dimir side of the Sultai has Surveil.
Yeah. You have to be dumping creatures in your graveyard to play it. And my thought is, if you're doing that, is this good? Is this advancing the strategy you want?
Right.
So if you're playing a deck that is putting creatures in your graveyard as fast as possible to turn this on, do you want this, or do you just want to play a more like combo-y type deck?
Right. So, well, it'll be interesting to see where this card goes.
The card is certainly powerful.
Yeah, totally agree. It's good. I like it.
It also might be what those decks want to survive, just so they get to their later spells.
Yeah. So this card, I think it's great.
Chemister's Insight is a 4 mana instant. Draw 2 with Jumpstart.
Yeah, I think it's 100% fine. It serves early game draw 2. Like, it's just replacing your Glimpse of the Unthinkable. No, not Glimpse of the Unthinkable. Glimmer of Genius. The other one that lets you draw 2. And it has the option of Jumpstart. Like, these control decks are eventually going to flood out. And it's good for them to have some way of being able to draw cards.
I despise that this is the new standard for control draw spells, that they're all 4 mana draw 2s. These are such bad effects. They're effects that you have to play in standard because you just need draw cards for control decks.
Are there better spells? Yes.
The fact that they're all 4 mana draw 2 is so bad.
Yeah.
Like Inspiration is a trash card, and tacking on these random abilities doesn't make it less trash.
But control still has to run it.
But control still has to run it.
So have fun with this, Carlo.
No, but in the last set, for example, like I didn't even bother with Glimmer of Genius or Hieroglyphic. Like I kept putting them in decks because you would see them played in decks. You would see, here's top 8 of the Pro Tour, or here's top 8 of the latest Grand Prix, and PVDDR has this many copies of it in the deck, and I would just keep thinking, okay, well obviously they know something I don't, right?
Right. So let's just throw it in there.
And they always sucked. And I eventually just decided, like, screw this. I'm just going to play as Kanta. And that's going to be how I get ahead on cards.
Good. We got a reprint, boys. The first reprint.
Yeah, Chromatic Lantern.
Chromatic Lantern. Oh, man. Yeah, see, there you go. You can run all the colors on me.
Yeah, this isn't good. It's standard.
Just a reprint.
For standard.
It's just a reprint.
Because, so here's why it's not good in standard. If you're running this, you have access to tons of other ramp cards. So the reason you're running this card specifically is because you need all of your colors.
Right.
If you need all of your colors, that means your mana base isn't good enough to generate all of your colors. That means that the games where you don't draw this, you can't play anything.
You're losing the game.
Yeah.
So yeah, Chromatic Star, reprint, EDH playable. That pretty much covers that. Limited playable, I guess.
Nah.
Limited.
I mean, it's just manolith.
Just spend the first 4 turns, 5 colors.
Circuitous route.
Ramp spell, pretty basic. Search your library for up to 2 basic land cards and or gate cards. Put them onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffle your library.
And it's 4 mana. This is fine.
You think so?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not. I'm horrible at evaluating these search effects cards. I want to say it's kind of good because of you get to get 2 gates.
It fixes all of your mana. It's fine for if standard has a ramp deck that wants this effect.
Right. Which I'm sure it's something that this is going to come up. I mean, we can have Teferi Turbo Fog,
And in EDH and other formats, it's worse than every other spell.
Yeah, because nobody's going to put gates in their EDH deck. Let's be real. Oh, baby.
City Watch Sphinx. More amazing art on an otherwise not so great card.
Limited. This card's fine. This is your bomb if you have it. And if you're in your colors. Surveil 2 on a big body like this is actually decent.
Yeah, so it's 6 mana flyer, Surveil 2, 5/4.
Yeah, everything else, it's just a card. It's just a magic card.
Yep. It's fine for limited. Not going to see play anywhere else.
Correct. City Wide Bust.
It is a 1 white rare sorcery. Destroy all creatures with toughness 4 or greater.
I like this card.
I do not like this card.
Okay.
So let's hear why you like this card.
I like this card and the strategies that are going to exist. So let's say the Boros build that we had. I mentioned that a lot of the mentor abilities are going to stall out about 3 to 4 power. And this gives you a board wipe if they play Carnage Tyrants and even Steel Leaf Champion. I think it's fine in those type of strategy decks. Overall, it's just not Control might run one of these just against the bigger greedy mana decks. We're losing Fulminate, I believe.
Fumigate. But we have Cleansing Nova.
Yeah, we have Cleansing Nova. I mean, this is just an additional. Like I said, this is fine in a deck build around it where the people know the creatures aren't going to grow past 4 power.
So here's the problem, and it comes down to this rule of thumb. When you want a wrath that kills everything and not only kills certain things.
Right.
And we've seen wraths that have limited effects where they don't kill everything and they're almost never good. And we've even specifically seen 3 mana white wraths that kill a certain subset of cards and they don't see play. We even have one from Ixalan that doesn't see any play.
Even Ponzo's Last Reckoning.
Well, Bontu's Last Reckoning actually kills everything.
Right, that's true.
But this doesn't. And so the only way that I can see this being good is Specifically, if it's in standard and you're a white aggro deck and you need a sideboard card to kill green Stompy.
Yeah. Like I said, in these strategy base, like I would run this.
And
in
even
my
there,
build.
even there, you can probably just play normal removal spells and just kill their creatures.
I mean, like in the Boros build that Dylan Feeman ended up giving me, that list, like it's fine and it's using one removal spell, and I think like in that deck this would be 100% fine for the sideboard, because like that deck specifically loses to things like Steel Leaf Champion, Tyrant. In Modern, somebody in the chat is suggesting it's good against
Shadow Hollow One and Hardened
One.
Scales. But in Modern, you have Wrath of God.
Yeah.
So just play that.
You have Wrath of God. You have all these effects.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, moving on.
Hey. We're trying. We just we got our old camera. So this is the camera from the old streaming on the table. The streaming camera got upgraded because we found our old camera because Grim lost it. So we upgraded that camera. The next one is this Stream Rooms camera here.
Collar the Culprit is a 3-white instant. Destroy target creature with toughness 4 or greater. Limited.
Limited's fine. Grab this card as your removal card. It's the second one for bread. You can't find a bomb, go for removal. This is good removal and limited. Everything else, won't see anything special.
I don't even know if it's that good of removal and limited.
I mean, there's enchantments that we're going to run into that are a lot better than this, but if it's your, like, if you haven't drafted removal, you just grab that card.
Command the Storm is a 4-red instant. It deals 5 damage to target creature. Same comments as the last card.
Is that Urza on the art?
No.
Oh, man, I got scared. I was about to say, like, holy shit, Urza came back. Yeah, same as the last card. If you haven't got any kind of removal spell while you're drafting, this is a good alternative. There are better removal spells out there. 4 mana is too big. And I'm just disappointed that's not Urza on the cover now. So, thank you, Ammi. Disappointed me this early. Jeez. What card do we have here?
All right, Conclave Cavalier, the first in the cycle of double color things.
And I think these are going to be... I don't want to say... I want to use the word great. They're going to be... Like, this card is very, very fair.
Yeah.
I think this card is very, very fair.
Green, white, 4/4 vigilance. When it dies, create 2 green and white elf knights with vigilance.
Yes. I think this card is actually great. Like I said, I feel it's above, not. It's just a little bit under great. I think it's a fair card.
Yeah, I just feel like there's probably going to be better options.
Correct. There will be better options, but
here.
like this isn't like. I don't want to say this card's bad. It's also not great.
It's not bad. It's not great either.
It's
a fine card.
It's a fine card.
And limited, it's great.
And limited, it's great. Everything else is just fine. Like if you're homebrewing and you don't know what to add, and this just happens to be in your color, toss it in there. It might do something for you. It might help you survive another turn so you find an answer. It's just a fair card. I think it's fine. I hope the rest of those cycle cards are like that and nice and good.
All right, Conclave Guild Mage, the first of the Guild Mages.
Ooh, baby.
They're all 2 mana and whatever colors of guild they are.
Yep.
This one's a 2/2, and it has green tap, creatures you control gain trample, or 5 white tap, create a 2/2 green and white elf knight creature with vigilance.
Limited, this is fine. You start producing tokens very late.
Well, they're all fine and limited because they're all bears, and then you just have effects on them. This one's effect is significantly worse than the other ones because because the trample clause is not great and the other clause is extremely expensive.
It's very, very late game.
Yeah.
So, decent card. If you have to grab it. It's not gonna hold you back. This card, I believe, we'll see a lot of standard play.
Yes.
I do like this card.
So Conclave Tribunal is a 3-white enchantment with Convoke, and it's an O-ring. When it enters, exile target non-land permanent and opponent controls until Conclave Tribunal leaves.
So you have control decks that can... I mean, there's better cards for control to run, but any kind of temple, mid-rangey type of deck with creatures in the white color can just use their creatures to pay for the mana. Like, you're not going to be able to attack on the board anyway, so you might as well just use that mana efficiently.
Yeah, this is best in a mid-range or token deck.
Yeah. Token strategies are going to be great too. You have the green-white ones that we already saw a lot of the flavor.
And it's an O-ring. It's going to see standard play.
Yep. It's
older formats, probably not. Those older formats just have too efficient, cheap removal for this to be good.
Yeah. Plus this die stats trophy.
Yeah.
Our second split card, I'm not going to attempt... Should I attempt to rotate it on me? Rotate to the right.
Yeah.
All right. Hopefully that fixed it.
Nope.
Nope. We're bad. I'm bad at this.
You have to be able to rotate it on the screen.
I mean, let's see.
Go to the top right corner of the card.
Yeah,
and then fade a little bit off of it so that you're not growing it.
Yeah, no, it's not.
It doesn't give you an option. All
Nope.
right, we'll just break our necks. So connive or concoct is a blue-black spell. So the first side, if I can read that here, is 4 mana, sorcery, gain control of target creature with power 2 or less. And the other side is surveil is 5 mana, surveil 3, then return a creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield.
I've heard a lot of people like really liking this card. It's hard for me to put my finger on it.
The primary use is going to be the reanimate part.
The 5 mana part.
And then the other part is just like a bonus if you ever randomly have something to do.
4 mana for mind control.
It steals Aurelia is the big one, but I guess it also steals Legion War Boss, which is fine as well. There's not too many things that you want to steal with it.
Right.
The primary use you're going to have is the Surveil 3 reanimated creature part.
Yeah. Just makes me miss Scarab God already.
It's fine.
Yeah, it's just a fine card. We have this big ol'
Cosmotronic Wave is a 4 mana red sorcery that deals 1 damage to each creature your opponents control, and they can't block this turn.
Beautiful art on a very mediocre card.
Yep. I don't even think it's good and limited.
No. I mean, it gives you like a temporary Chain Whirler effect. I do like the strategy part of like they can't block this turn.
I do nominate it for best flavor text in the set.
Ooh, read the flavor text.
This sort of innovation occurs when you set out to improve an electric tea kettle and misplace a decimal.
That's dope. That's cute. So flavor text A+. Let's move along here.
Crackling Drake, our is it double creature, which is 4 mana flying. It's a star 4. Its power is equal to the total number of instant and sorcery cards you own in exile and graveyard, and when it enters the battlefield, draw a card. This is, if it weren't for that draw card part, I would just dismiss it. The fact that it draws you a card,
A little bit better.
you have to have at least 3 spells in your graveyard,
To make this worth it.
which means you spent turns 1 through 3 playing spells.
Okay, so
Or-
turn 1 op, turn 2 lightning strike. Turn
It's difficult
3.
to evaluate. I just suspect that there's better thing. Another problem with all of these spell matter cards is that if you're playing a spells matter deck, you're probably playing a control deck that has a bunch of spells in it, and you don't want to play just random creatures.
And then you're gonna get graveyard hated and cry. Next card coming right up. Creeping
Chill. I cannot believe this card exists.
Why? Because it's so good.
So 4 mana, black, sorcery, deals 3 damage to each opponent and you gain 3 life. When it is put in your graveyard from your library, you may exile it. If you do, it deals 3 damage to each opponent and you gain 3 life. So Dredge just gets a lightning helix for 0 mana.
Free helix, boys.
Yeah. So this card's great.
Yeah, I mean,
If you have to cast it, that's okay. Primarily, you're going to be binning this. Is this good enough to see play in Dredge in Modern?
I don't think it's worth it. I think like that deck's already like tight as it is. Like, what do you replace this for? Like, it's no way in hell better than, what do you call it? Fucking
Conflagrate?
Yeah, like it's not better than Coffergate. I don't know. Maybe they want to do a sideboard
The
thing
fact that
against-
it's free is
like
just so absurd.
Yeah, I mean, like it also has a good Dredge also has a good matchup against Burn. So I don't even know if this goes like in the sideboard for it. I mean, if
I'm
they
just saying
figure out
it's a way to
drop-
potentially kill faster because you just get a free lightning helix.
Yeah. So is it worth? Are you saying like it's not worth running 1? It's worth running 4?
I'm saying is it,
You go
well,
Dredge, Helix.
I haven't
Helix,
played.
you-
I've played against Dredge a lot. I haven't played Dredge very much. I
Okay.
can imagine that you could build a Dredge deck that has copies of these in it.
That's fair. Fair argument. So if you're running Dredge, try this card out. Let us know in the comments below. We're moving on to our next one.
It's gonna be great in Standard.
Ooh, yeah, that'll be fine. All the surveils, like
Yeah.
surveil, put in the graveyard, helix you for free. 4-drop instant, choose one or both. Exile target artifact, exile target enchantment.
This is bad sideboard guard.
It's just very medium. I'm not.
Yeah.
He looks like a wrestler though.
Crush
That's fucking
Contraband.
dope. Look at him.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. All right, enough of that. Where are we at?
Crushing Canopy. It's a reprint of a card that's currently standard legal, so why bother talking about it?
All right. Ami has spoken. Do we do these right now?
Oh, those are masterpieces. We're not doing that. They're not part of the set.
I know, but it's worth just talking about them. Let me get two up on screen real quick.
Okay, well, these are masterpieces from the Mythic Edition, which is $250, available only from the Hasbro Toy Shop online.
Oh, baby.
They're not actually in the set. You can't play them in Standard.
Nope, but if you like these for EDH and all that stuff, I mean, you're willing to spend $200, go ahead. Elspeth looks dope. Okay, so let's talk about the flavor text of Elspeth.
The art's great, but the foiling is awful.
Are they going to use the From the Vault foil?
They're going to use the From the Vault foiling,
Then
I've seen the foils of these. They look terrible. They look like stiff, and they just it's like this flat sheet of foiling that has all these vertical lines going through it instead of specific.
Can I tell you
foils.
something? I love the From the Vault foils. I don't know why. They're just great. I think they're great. I'm sure I'm wrong. But I do like that you get to see Elspeth. Lore-wise, you would know more about lore. Correct me if I'm wrong. She died. Her essence got put into this mask. And this is the mask she's holding.
She died on Theros by Heliod stabbing her through the stomach with the Godslayer spear or whatever it's called. Yeah. And on Theros, when you die, you don't actually die. You go to the underworld.
Mm-hmm. And this is Elspeth from the underworld.
Yep.
But the Planeswalker is the one that's existed for years now.
And she has black hair now for no reason.
Oh, dope. She's a brunette. I like brunettes. Where did we stop? We stopped there. We're moving on here. Huh?
Darkblade Agent is a 3-mana blue and black 2/3. As long as you've surveilled this turn, it has Death Touch, and whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, you draw a card.
You're wrong, Grim. Go to sleep.
Darkblade Agent is not good.
Darkblade Agent does not look, and I'm finishing reading. Limited? Meh.
It's fine and limited. It's a 2/3 for 3.
There you go.
And if you happen to surveil, you get to take a card from them. Either they have to block it or you draw. Yep. In Standard, it's not good enough in Standard.
All right, Dawn of Hope. Enchantment. Whenever you gain life, you may pay 2 if you do draw a card. 4 mana, create a 1/1 white creature token with lifelink.
And it is a white card. This is the card that I'm most undecided about if it's actually good or not.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. Like, it's kind of like that other card that I told you. Like, I feel stupid if I say this card's bad, but I'm also not smart enough to say this card's good.
So it's a cheap enough card that you can like tuck it through control decks and then draw cards off of it, but at the same time you need a way to generate the trigger.
The lifelink.
And paying like 4 mana to create a token is not a good enough way to do that, so you have to have something else with lifelink. So I suspect it's not good. Okay. But the card is cheap enough that it could be good.
That's fair. Okay. We'll move on to the next one. Another trash card, I think.
Dazzling Lights is a blue instant. Target creature gets -3, -0 until end of turn, and it has Surveil 2. And I do not agree that this card is trash.
You don't? Because of Surveil?
Because you get to Surveil 2 for 1 mana.
Sure. That's fair. So it's kind of working like a cantrip.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the Thought Scour. Oh, no. It's like you didn't even draw afterwards. It's half a Thought Scour.
Yeah.
I mean, it could also like stall you from losing.
I think it's a fine like sideboard card if you have a heavy like self-milling deck or just maybe even a control deck and you just need a way to stall an aggro deck for 1 turn.
All right, so let's talk about this card. This card is called 5 mana Murder.
Yep. So, but it has Surveil 2 on it.
Okay, it has Surveil. 5 mana Murder, whatever. I'm going to stop.
It's fine in limited.
It's fine in limited. Get it. It won't see play in Standard, so enjoy while you can, boys.
Deadweight, a reprint
my
from
favorite.
Shadows.
Our second reprint showing up today. Deadweight. I like the card. There's a lot of arguments that it's... I know people want to make Mulgrotha
the Graveside.
Yes, they're trying to make that card a deck. So
that card's not a deck, by the way.
I know. I'm pretty sure it's not. The way William Kim said it is, don't run bad cards to make a bad card better. And I think this falls under it. Like, the card's fine. I think this is a great removal spell for, like, the cheap mana. I just don't think it's worth running in Mulgrotha.
Yep.
Yeah, so Deadweight's cool. That art is awesome as well. Look at him. Ha. Poor bastard. We have a multicolor spell coming up here.
Deafening Clarion. It's our next 3 mana deal 3 to everything card. Except this one is also white, and you can also give your creatures lifelink.
Correct.
Or give your creatures lifelink. So you don't have to Wrath. You can just give your creatures lifelink.
You can Wrath and give your creatures lifelink.
Or you can do both.
Yeah, just kill your creatures.
Either
like
one.
They had lifelink though. This card, I don't know. When it got spoiled, I think the Mardu Pyromancer group chat, Facebook group, was like considering running it. Like sometimes you gotta Wrath the board. Sometimes you can just gain a bunch of life with all your tokens just jamming into them. I don't think it's worth a sideboard slot if it doesn't get you the Anger of God effect on it, to be honest.
Yeah, it's probably... Well, Anger of the Gods is probably better in most situations in Modern.
Correct.
But this one, the fact that you can gain life off of it is relevant.
Correct.
And in Standard, it's great.
Yeah, I think in Standard
it's a 3 mana Wrath. Or 3 mana deal 3 to everything. It's also interesting to note that this works very well with Tajik, which we'll be talking about later.
Yes, I just got a text, so somebody's watching, and instead of telling me in the chat, do you know who it is? They message me, this card plus Legion's Edge. You're able to, you'll see. We'll pull it up. I want to kind of save this card for later.
And yeah, we know that murder's an instant. We're just using that as shorthand.
Yeah, I'm just making a joke out of it because that card's just so bad. Damn. That art, right?
Demotion. It's a white enchanted creature. Enchanted creature can't block, and its activated abilities can't be activated.
Good and limited.
It's like okay and limited, and
what about standard?
It.
No. Better cards.
What does it do?
It demotes a creature. It brings them great shame to their families.
Devious Cover-Up is a 4 mana blue instant. Counter target spell. If it's countered, exile it instead of putting it in the graveyard. You may shuffle up to 4 target cards from your graveyard into your library. This card sucks.
You think it sucks?
It sucks everywhere. There's no reason to play it in any format.
I think this card's fine. You get to put things back into your library.
So
I think it's worth it, dude.
Why is that useful?
Because you get to recur your spells. I mean, there's no shuffle effects, right? I guess there's no shuffle effects.
Karen Dissident is a 1 green 2/2. It has 5 mana to give itself +2.
It's a bear and it has an ability. So for limited, you're good. You're good, fam.
Yep, there we go.
There we are.
Dimir Informant is a 2 blue 1/4. When it enters, surveil 2.
It's a better Talarian Scholar because it actually has like an ability.
I think this card is actually quite good.
That's fine.
It blocks very well and it digs you through your deck and bins stuff.
Hey guys, it's a human.
It is a human.
We should totally run this in human.
No.
I know. I just love everybody who sees a human and just goes, guys, look, I discovered something.
Next we're talking about Spybug.
I don't even know where we're at.
We're over
I don't
here.
see the highlight. Oh, there we go. All right. Another card that we've been test playing with and against.
Dimir Spybug is a blue-black insect flyer with menace. And whenever you surveil, put a +1 counter on it. It is a 1/1.
When it's good, it's really good. When it's bad, it dies to Chain Whirler.
Yeah.
So it's like I said, it's tough. There's only been a little bit of test playing with it lately, but it dies to Chain Whirler joke is real when it comes to these X.
Well, I don't think that's a joke though.
No,
it depends on how prevalent Chain Whirler is.
Well, I'm saying like other people think it's a joke. Look at this card. Look at this card.
Direct Current is a 1 red sorcery, deals 2 to any target with Jumpstart.
I would love this card if it was instant speed. That's it.
Yeah, the card's very bad.
Correct. I think it would be a better card if it was just instant speed, obviously.
It's kind of shocking like how good the Surveil cards are as opposed to how bad the Jumpstart cards are.
Yep. Because we understand the power of value.
All right, so we've got Discovery or Dispersal. It is a blue-black, either 1 blue-black hybrid sorcery, surveil 2, then draw a card. Yeah,
Yep.
surveil 2, then draw a card, or 5 mana instant. Each opponent returns a non-land permanent they control with the highest converted mana cost among permanents they control to their owner's hand and discards a card. So let's get this out of the way. So the 5 mana side is garbage.
Sure.
The 2 mana side is great.
Okay. Yeah, Surveil 2, draw a card.
Yep.
So essentially two mana.
2 mana preordain.
Yep, or Thought Scour. If you choose to like dump them. Yeah, cards, whatever. Why am I getting lost?
Disdainful Stroke, it's back. It's back from Khans of Tarkir.
The third reprint.
Or Dragons of Tarkir, whichever one it was
Disdainful Stroke. Great card. Control could see that. We'll see this in the sideboard. So, besides that,
it's an entirely metagame dependent sideboard card.
Yep.
But it's good.
It's good. Limited, it's fine. Everybody's gonna be running big ass things. So if you're gonna go the control route, feel free to get Disdainful Stroke.
All right, Disinformation Campaign.
All right, is this card? Is this it? Oh no, this isn't the card.
So we got 1 blue-black enchantment. When it enters, you draw a card and each opponent discards, and whenever you surveil, you can return it to your hand.
Yeah.
This card is too slow and clunky to be any good.
That's fair.
Because, think about it this way. Okay, so ignore the return it to your hand part first.
Okay.
That effect alone is not worth it. Paying 3 mana for you draw, they discard, that's not worth it.
No.
So then you have to play. So let's say you play this. It resolves. You draw, they discard. Okay. It's next turn. You play a Surveil card. You return this to your hand. The Surveil card probably costs enough that you can't immediately play this again.
Correct.
So it still hasn't done anything. The next turn after that, you play it again, and you draw one and they discard. So you're playing this against a control deck because you're never ever playing this against like Boros aggro because you're just gonna die. So that is just too slow. And I get that that it could be good in the sense that if they're a control deck, they're probably playing like Essence Scatter and that type of effects, and they possibly can't counter this. So you're getting value off of it in a sense. But if you're playing like you play this, and then you play a Surveil card, and they go Teferi, untap, draw a card, and you're not doing anything with it.
Yeah, that's fair. Next we have District Guide. When a District Guide enters the battlefield, you may search your library for a basic land card or gate card, reveal it, put it into your hand, shuffle your library. I think this is fine.
It's 2 green, 2/2. It is also fine, yeah.
Yeah.
It's Civic Wayfinder, Borderland Ranger. Those cards are always fine.
Yep.
It too is fine. It's a little bit better than all those cards actually because it finds gates.
It can find a gate. Yep. We're going to speed up here because we have way too much to go and we don't have the time.
All right. Divine Visitation is a 3 white enchantment. If one or more creature tokens would be created under your control, you get 4/4 flying angels with vigilance instead.
I think it's fine.
Oh, you think this card's just fine?
Yeah, token strategies are getting angels instead of 1/1s.
This card is so incredibly good. Oh my god.
I think it's fine.
Any token thing that you make suddenly is
a 4/4.
busted beyond belief.
Yeah.
Like you play this and then you play Saproling Migration.
Ooh, baby.
Your opponent just dies immediately.
Or the combo card that makes all the tokens.
Yeah.
Doom Whisperer. Flying Trample. Pay 2 life. Surveil 2. It is a 6/6.
It's a 5 mana black 6/6.
5 mana. There you go. 5 mana.
So this card's already good on rate.
Yeah.
And then the fact that it is Gristlebrand Light is also great.
Yeah, I mean, like, you're not going to, like, lose 10 life to this at any point, but, like...
Oh, I think you can.
You will?
Because you play Spybug, and then you go, like, Surveil a whole bunch of times.
Just grow it. And
here's a giant Spybug, and you smash them.
That's true. Yeah, I mean, this card's good. I like it.
Even if you never Surveil with it, it's huge.
Yeah. Yeah, for 5 mana, 6/6, like, Flying Trample, it has it's like your bomb and evasion and limited.
So this card needs to go into some kind of graveyard shenanigans deck.
Yeah, that'd be dope. Card is... This is a magic card, folks.
Yep.
All
right, Dream Eater.
Flash for 6 and a 4/3 body. Flying. When Dream Eater enters the battlefield, Surveyor 4. When you do, you may return target online permanent to its an opponent controls to its owner's hand.
So the way this works is it has 2 triggers. First you surveil, then you choose what you're going to bounce.
Correct.
I think the card's great.
No, yeah. The card's actually pretty fine.
It's obviously not as good as Torrential Gearhulk because Torrential Gearhulk was insane.
Yeah, nothing's ever going to be as good as that. Like, I don't think we're ever getting Torrential Gearhulk back in standard.
This card is still great though. Yes, it dies to Lightning Strike and
Ass Trophy.
And it doesn't block well either. So you can't like Gearhulk ambush people.
Yeah, that's
in the same way you could. But this card generates a lot of value.
Yeah. Especially with the Surveil. So like, oh.
I think the most important part is actually the bounce.
The bounce
You
effect.
flash it in, you bounce their big thing that wastes their whole turn,
Mm-hmm.
and then start killing them.
Yeah, that's fair. Like this card.
I'm also... It's so weird that, like, the guild leader is bad, and then you have this, like, random... You have this random 6-drop that could be in any set, and it's better than all the guild leaders.
Yeah. This is a mill card.
It's not a good mill card either. Drown Secrets.
That's all that has to be said about that.
It's also going to feel really bad when you open it as your rare in your pre-release.
That's going to be horrible. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, deals 1 damage to each opponent.
Electrostatic Field is a 2-0
look,
red
got
defender.
A storm
card. This card's actually
Jeez.
fine, I think.
Yeah.
So previously we would get these types of effects and they would always be stapled on like 2/1 creatures or whatever, and this thing is a thing that actually blocks.
Yeah. We will be skipping that other card. This was the game day.
I think this is the game day top 8.
Yeah,
promo.
game day top 8 promo. It's not bad.
Amara, Soul of the Accord.
Creates a 1/1 soldier creature with lifelink.
You have to have a way to tap this without attacking.
Correct. So even with attacking this, it's not too bad because you get a body, but that's pretty much all you do. There's the argument for putting this in Modern Elves.
Oh, no way.
It. I mean,
there's no chance it sees any plain Modern Elves.
Correct.
This card is a standard only card.
That token needed to be an elf in order for this to go into.
You have to have a way to tap it, and the fact that all the good vehicles are rotating out is not bode well for it.
Oh, that's right. All the vehicles are out.
And I get, yes, it kind of works with Convoke, but you really, really need a way to tap it consistently every single turn.
Yeah. And I lost our place.
So we're on E.
Right
here.
Card is a magic card, right?
Enhanced Surveillance is 1 blue enchantment. You may look at an additional 2 cards each time you surveil, and you can exile it to shuffle your graveyard in your library.
So, is this worth running?
Probably not, but it is good.
Right. Okay. Because everyone was on the fence about this. Like, is it worth running this just to surveil those extra 2 cards?
It's worth running it if you're like Turbo Dredge.
Right.
If you're milling yourself. If you're getting use out of the cards you're putting in your graveyard.
That's true. Besides that, it is medium. Let's get some cards. Let's start doing 2 at a time, Mommy.
No, we're not going to do 2 at a time.
All right, there you go.
Sure.
Discard a creature card. It gets +2/+2 and gains trample until end of the turn. Activate this ability only once per turn.
And it's 3 mana 2/2. The effect is way too expensive of an effect for that ability. So the reason you're going to play this is because you want to discard things.
I thought you were going to say because of the art.
No, it's because you want to discard things.
Yeah.
And you can only discard things once a turn as well because of its ability. So you have to have a reason to want to discard stuff and also not want to be able to discard multiple things at once because you can only discard 1 every turn cycle or 2 every turn cycle.
Which is bad.
Then we have Erratic Cyclops, which is a 3 red. Trample 0/8. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, it gets +X/0, where X is that spell's converted mana cost. This card is way too expensive for this effect.
And it has way too many things that need to go right to make it work.
Yeah.
Don't think it's great. Get rid of it, folks. This is the...
Atrata the Silencer.
This is so weird.
So it is
It's
a
so
2
weird.
blue-black vampire assassin 3/5. Can't be blocked. And whenever it deals combat damage to a player, you exile target creature that player controls and put a hit counter on it. Then that player loses the game if they own 3 or more exiled cards with hit counters on them. Atrata's owner shuffles Atrata into their library. This card is absolute trash.
Thank you, Ami. Thank you.
So in limited, it's fine because it's basically a removal spell that does 3 damage to them.
Right. And
But
it goes away.
But it goes away. So think about what has to happen for this to actually kill your opponent with that clause. You have to hit them, shuffle it, draw it again, play it, attack them, hit another creature, shuffle it back in your library, draw it again, play it, hit them again,
That's already
exile a
6
third
turns.
creature. And you have to randomly draw it from your library or have a second copy. It's legendary, so you can't stack multiple of them and play at the same time to try to get around that. It doesn't have haste or anything that would enable you to just like stack up the counters as much as possible. The cards are in exile, so you can't even proliferate the counters. So, and then In Commander, yes, you can put this back in your command zone instead of shuffling it, but then it costs 6, 8, 10 mana to cast. This card is so bad.
So what you're saying is next.
Yeah.
All right. Another split card here.
Expansion or Explosion. We have 2 blue-red hybrids. For an instant that copies target instant or sorcery spell with converted mana cost 4 or less, and you can choose new targets. Or Explosion, which is X blue blue red red. It deals X damage to any target, and target player draws X.
I think this is great for the second ability Explosion.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I think
Carlos been using this like test playing for Jeskai builds, and the X effect has been so amazing.
I think
so far.
Explosion's too expensive.
It's just fine. It's fine.
It's so expensive though.
I know. It's still fine.
And the other effect is just expansion's bad.
Yeah, expansion's just trash.
You have to have another spell on the stack that you want to copy with it, and then have this and copy the spell.
Right. All right, we gotta speed up a little bit.
Find, I think, is the next one.
Fearless.
Ah.
It's a magic card.
Yep, that's what it is.
It's a magic
Fearless
card.
Halberdier.
She looks mad.
Find Finality. Find or Finality.
Find or Finality.
It is
Return up to 2 target creature cards from your graveyard to your hand. And Finale, you may put 2 +1/+1 counters on creatures you control.
On a creature.
On a creature. Then all creatures get -4/-4 until end of turn. 6 mana board wipe. Good or bad? It's a 6 mana.
It's bad.
Damn, 6 mana fucking
The part of this card that's going to be played if it sees play is the find part, and again, it's got to be turbo dredge. It's got to be something where you're milling a ton of cards in your graveyard, and you want to get the creatures back from your graveyard, which tells me that is only in a Golgari deck that mills itself a whole bunch, and you're playing a mid-range matchup, and you want to get value.
Yeah.
So the card's probably not good, but it has a good enough rate that it could see play.
Firemind's Research. 2 mana enchantment is it. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, put a charge counter on Fireman's Research. Blue and another, remove 2 charge counters from Fireman's Research. Draw a card. Pretty slow and bad. Red and other, remove 5 counters from Fireman's Research. This is just a magic card, isn't it?
Everyone looks at this and they think of cards like Dynavolt Tower. This card is so much worse than that because it's just way too expensive.
Yep, I agree. It's a magic card.
Yep.
It has prints on it. Is this another magic card?
Fire Urchin, 1 red, 1/3 trample. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery, it gets +1/+0 until end of turn. Probably not good enough. It could, I'm trying to think of how it could see standard play. You'd have to have an aggro deck that plays tons and tons of cheap spells, cheap instant and sorcery spells specifically that cantrip, and so you pump this thing up, and then you're playing this janky combo synergy deck that plays that plus a bunch of spells.
Yeah. So 8 mana, Convoke, flying 4/5. Highlight, it's a human.
It is a human.
It's a human.
It also costs 8 mana, so you're tapping your entire board.
Yeah, but why attack and apply pressure on your opponent when you can just play another 4/5?
Yeah, why?
I don't know. People are dumb.
Limited, it's good.
Limited, this is excellent. Especially if you've pumped out any amount of tokens, you're fine. Besides that, it's bad.
Flower or Flourish. Now we get the Celestia split card.
Yeah.
Flower is a green-white hybrid. Search your library for a basic forest or plains. Reveal it, put it into your hand. Flourish is a 6 mana green-white. Creatures you control get +2/+2 until end of turn. This card, if it sees play, will see play almost entirely because of the search for a land part. And it can
ramp strategy.
It cannot fetch shock lands because they're basic.
Unfortunately.
And it's not anywhere near as good as cards like Attune with Aether because you can only fetch specifically the 2 colors that you already are. So it's okay.
It should be fine. As a turn 1 play, this is actually fine. Shouldn't be too crazy. Damn, look, another highlight here.
Fresh-Faced Recruit is a 1 red and white hybrid. 2/1. As long as it's your turn, it has first strike. And it's a human.
It's a human, boys.
Yep.
Why play cards like Meddling Mage on turn 2 or Freebooter to disrupt your opponent when you can play a 2/1 that's a first strike on your turn?
Yeah.
It's just some people, man, they just don't know how to play Magic. It's a bear for limited. It's not too bad. So drafting, this is not too bad.
No, it's actually good and limited because it has first strike.
The first strike.
Yeah.
Next one.
Garrison Agent is a 5 mana red and white 3/3. It has double strike as long as you control a gate. This card is just
Garbage.
limited fodder. If you have a bunch of gates and your Boros,
I think this is still garbage.
okay.
I think it's still garbage and limited. Gatekeeper.
Gatekeeper Gargoyle.
Gargoyle's always fun.
6 mana 3/3 artifact creature flying. Enters the battlefield with a +1 counter on it for each gate you control.
So unlimited, if you spent for some reason your first turn just grabbing all the gates, or you got past all the gates by some point, this isn't a bad card. Like, if you get 2 gates and you cast this for 6, that's 6 for a 5/5 flyer.
If you have gates.
It's not the best, correct. It's not the best, but it's fine. Besides that, card's garbage.
Moving on. We have Gateway Plaza. So we have gates that are not colored gates.
Gates that are not colored gates. Is that what you said?
Yeah, it's not the dual colors.
Oh, this gates. Is what's the card?
Spire? It's Reliquary, not Reliquary Tower.
No.
Rupture Spire.
Rupture Spire. There we go.
Enters tapped. When it enters, you sack it unless you pay 1. It adds 1 of any color. This card sucks.
Yeah. Bad turn 1. Worst turn 2.
Then we have Generous Stray. Is a 2 green 1/2 cat. When it enters the battlefield, draw a card.
Replaces itself. Decent and limited. Do you think this will see any play in the cat deck?
There's no cat deck. What are you talking about?
Dang, did we already lose the cat lords?
Yeah.
Dang.
Those are all Amonkhet cards.
Card's trash.
Yep.
The flavor text is dope, though.
Gird for Battle is a white sorcery. Put a +1 counter on each of up to 2 target creatures. This card's okay.
Yeah. It's just fine. You're not going to...
The fact that it's not an instant, it makes it significantly worse.
You can't even run this in humans, so it's bad.
Yeah. Glaive of the Guild Pact.
This is dope.
All right. Is a 2 mana artifact equipment. Equipped creature gets +1/+0 for each gate you control and has vigilance and menace and has equipped 3.
Again, unlimited. If for some reason you end up getting all the gates, this equipment's not too bad in it. Besides that, I mean, unlimited. I like the menace ability, right? Being able to put the menace ability on a big ass creature.
This card's not good.
Yeah, it's still. I'm not saying it's great. It's just.
And dies to Ass Trophy.
Another card that dies to Ass Trophy, folks.
Glowspore Shaman is a black-green 3/1 elf shaman. When it enters the battlefield, you mill 3 cards, and then you may put a land card from your graveyard on top of your library. This is the part of the engine that makes the dredge deck work.
Yes. So this isn't. This will see play in the dredge strategy. My argument, obviously.
Standard dredge, obviously.
Yeah. My argument, like why this card's bad, is Chain Whirler, man. Like it's good to have a body.
I don't know that you care that much about your creatures dying in that deck, though.
No, you don't. But it like when you need to put a body on the board to not die or take less damage, like this just doesn't get you there. Unfortunate. So.
But it's part of the backbone of that deck along with Stitcher Supplier.
Correct. Do you have a list already made up?
I have ideas.
Ooh.
Goblin Banneret is a red 1/1 with Mentor, and it has 1 red. It gets +2/+0 until end of turn. I see a bunch of hype on this card. I don't know why.
Fine.
This card's so incredibly bad.
Yeah, but we lost like all our good 1-drops.
We don't. We have Rigging Rendered Fanatical Firebrand.
Yeah, but it doesn't have Mentor. Again, the Mentor strategy is going to be.
This card is so atrocious. Oh my god. It's a 1/1.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next turn you can spend your whole turn to pay for it. And if they cast a removal spell to kill this, you've just wasted your whole turn. Or you just attack them for 1 and you play something. And then, so what is the idea? Turn 1, play this. Turn 2, play a 2-drop. Turn 3, activate this. Attack with both. Mentor your 2-power 2-drop.
Mm-hmm.
Hope that nothing dies so you don't waste your whole turn activating this. And that's best case scenario. Best case scenario is that over the course of 3 turns, you got an additional power on your 1-drop. That is awful.
You mean this one? Yeah, so we're not using that one because we're not using the way the format that this captures, that this card preview captures, isn't on the Mythic Spoilers part of it right now, I believe.
All right, next card. Goblin Crater Maker.
Goblin Crater Maker.
It is a 2 mana 2/2 goblin. It has 1. Sacrifice this and choose a mode. Either shocks a creature or destroy target colorless non-land permanent.
It's a Tron killer, man.
Yeah. It doesn't kill their Tron. It only kills the thing they play with Tron.
Yeah. Which by then is already too late.
So it's basically like, hey, are you a modern goblin deck that for some reason hasn't killed your Tron opponent before they play Ugin or Karn or whatever? You can now pay 3 mana to kill it.
Yeah.
And then probably still lose the game because while they're playing Wormcoil engines and stuff, you're playing 3 mana, blow up your Wormcoil and split it into tokens.
Yeah. Same. People, I don't know, the card's fine. It gives Goblin a way to deal with Tron, which is not what you want to do.
Yeah, Goblin's way of dealing with Tron is killing them before they do anything.
Yeah. You say stop it. Our 4th reprint.
Goblin Electromancer.
Yay!
And the reduce the instant or sorcery cost of your spells, which is never playable in Standard because Standard doesn't have enough cheap instant or sorceries for that to work.
Which brings us to Goblin Locksmith.
A 2 mana 2/1. When it attacks, creatures with Defender can't block this turn, which seems like an incredibly narrow ability, and I don't know why you'd ever play it outside of just limited fodder.
And we're on to the next card, Ami.
Golgari Findbroker is a black 3/4 Elf Shaman. When it enters the battlefield, return target permanent card from your graveyard to your hand. So it's an Eternal Witness that cannot bring back spells and costs an additional mana, but it's a 3/4.
And she kind of looks like Nissa.
So she's okay. My guess is it's too expensive.
Yeah.
Golgari Raiders, a 3 haste. It gets +1. It enters with a +1 counter on it for each creature in your graveyard, and it starts as a 0/0.
So this could be a giant bomb in the Dredge strategy deck that Ami has been mentioning all day.
The problem is it doesn't, again, have evasion. So, like, you fill your graveyard up with stuff, and then you go attack with this huge guy, and they just chump block it, and it doesn't do anything.
Yeah, it also dies to Ash Trophy.
Yep. Grappling Sundew is a 1 0/4 Defender Reach, and it has 5 mana. It gains Indestructible until end of turn. Okay, sure.
It's a magic card.
Yep.
It has text on it. I'm so tired of saying that.
Gravitic Punch is a 3 red sorcery that has target creature you control deals damage equal to its power to target player. Jumpstart.
So a 4 mana fight effect for red.
It's not a fight. It deals damage to players. Only.
Oh, okay.
With Jumpstart.
I mean, that's not. I mean, I don't think it's great.
The card's too expensive.
Yeah.
So it's bad. It's another problem of when you go, here's my huge creature, Gravitic Punch, in response, kill your creature. And then you just spent 4 mana and did nothing.
Yep.
Gruesome Menagerie is a 3 black sorcery. Choose creatures that have converted mana costs 1, 2, and 3 and return them to the battlefield from your graveyard.
Ooh. Is this in your one of the ideas for the Dredge?
This, I think, is a combo assembler.
Okay.
I don't know what combo it assembles, but that's what I imagine it does.
So you get back your Stitcher. You get back the 3-drop that makes you mill in return.
The
that was a 2-drop.
Yeah,
the 2/1. And the 3-drop you bring back an elf that like lets you tutor for lands. I don't know.
So yeah, I'm not entirely sure what this does, but it's powerful enough to see play.
Yeah, it looks solid. It looks like a very solid card here. We're gonna move over to whatever is next. It seems like it's another land.
Guild Mages Forum.
Mono fixing land when you tap 1, and if you use that color on a creature, said creature
on a
enters
multicolored creature specifically.
Oh, multicolored creature. Hey, you can run this in humans.
Enters with an additional +1 counter on it. This card is not good because you don't want to filter mana through your lands you don't want to have your spells or your lands cost 1 more basically, and then all the other times it's just tapping for colorless.
Guild Summit enchantment.
2 blue.
When Guild Summit enters the battlefield, you may tap any number of untapped gates you control. Draw a card for each gate tapped this way. Whenever a gate enters the battlefield under your control, draw a card. Bad.
Okay. It's incredibly bad because by playing it, you've probably tapped all your mana, which means you don't have any gates left over to actually draw cards with, and then you have to have like additional gates. Here's the thing. So all of these like Gate Matters cards are mostly limited, and how many gates are you going to play in your deck? You don't want to have that many enter tap lands. Like probably the most amount of gates that you'd want to play is 3. So it's not going to give you much.
Nope.
Hazda Marshal is a white 1/1. It's a human.
It's a human,
whenever it and at least 2 other creatures attack, you create a 1/1 white soldier with lifelink.
It's fine. It's not. I don't think it's anything like crazy. It gives you targets to mentor. Let's say.
No, I think it's bad.
It's a human, though.
It alone is too weak to do anything, and then you need to be attacking with tons of creatures for it to generate another weak token that doesn't do anything.
That's true. I mean, I still think it's just a fine card.
Hammer Dropper. It's a big, expensive mentor guy that's not good.
Damn, look at that art, though.
It is some cool art.
Looks fucking majestic as shit, dude.
Yeah,
I wouldn't fuck with him.
It's bad, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Hatchery Spider.
Oh, dude, we got Ishkan. Oh.
Yeah, it's not Ishkanah.
I know.
7 mana, green reach, 5/7 with Undergrowth. When you cast it, you reveal the top X cards of your library, where X is your number of dead creatures, and you put a green permanent with converted mana cost X or less from among them onto the battlefield, and the rest go to the bottom in a random order.
Think it's fine.
So the fact that it's 7 mana it's too much mana, so you have to be winning the turn you play this. You have to have. You cast this, you go grab a thing, and then you've basically won the game. You either immediately win the game, or whatever you grab
you're winning the game.
Is so powerful that you're going to win next turn. Yeah. But my guess is it's too expensive.
Yeah, way too expensive. Where are we at? Where are we at?
We are at Healer Hawk.
Oh man, the power creep is real, boys.
Yeah, Healer's Hawk is a white 1/1 flying lifelink.
What are we gonna do, man? Like, Magic's getting out of hand. They're making all these 1-drops so powerful.
If there's like cheap auras to put on this in limited, then it's good. But otherwise, it's not good.
You get an evasion creature, you gain some form of like lifelink if they don't have a flyer. And
it also works with Mentor, I guess.
Yeah, it works with Mentor. It grows. Card's good. Wow, why was I gonna do that the opposite way?
Hellkite Whelp is a 5 mana 3/3 flying dragon. When it attacks, deals 1 damage to target creature defending player controls. This is an okay limited card.
Yeah. It doesn't get rid of anything bigger than a 1/1, but it's also like it has evasion itself.
Hired Poisoner is a black 1/1 with Death Touch.
It's a human.
It is a human, and it actually is a human that is worth considering in humans.
Really? All right, Ami, you're gonna fight me on this. All right. Why?
No, I don't think it's actually good or replaces anything in humans. I'm just saying
it doesn't.
It's actually a good rate.
Explain.
Because it's a 1 mana 1/1 with Death Touch.
So the Death Touch part of it?
That's useful against like Death Shadow or Hollow One, maybe.
Yeah, but those are already like good matchups. Like I don't feel it's worth making a good matchup more better.
No, I don't think it's going to be played in the deck either. I'm just saying,
correct.
Unlike all of these other random cards that just happen to be humans, this one's actually good.
I get
this one's a good human.
Yeah. Like everything that showed human up until now, people have been like, "Oh, it's a human. It should be ran." This is the only. This, even though it's a no, this is still a better argument than the rest.
Yeah.
Okay.
And in limited, it's great because it
limited
just stonewalls everything.
Yeah. They're just not going to attack you. Their big ass creature that they tapped out for into this wall.
Hitchclaw Recluse.
Man, no giant spider.
Is a 2 green reach 1/4. It's a magic card. It has ink that has been printed onto cardboard on it.
And it has text and words.
Yep. House Guild Mage. I think this is the best of the Guild Mages.
All right, let's see why.
It's a blue-black 2/2. It has 1 blue. Target creature doesn't untap during its controller's next untap step, and 2 black tap Surveil 2.
Yeah, I can see
entirely
why.
because of the Surveil 2 part.
Yeah.
Because it just lets you dig and grind through your deck for your best cards.
Without paying life, without doing anything.
Yeah.
It's not too bad. Yeah, this is great.
It's probably not good enough for standard, though.
No, it's going to... I mean, if it is... Nah, it won't. I'm not going to even pretend.
It's good limited, though.
All right, so I had this conversation with George last time.
Hunted Witness, a white 1/1 human. When it dies, create a 1/1 white soldier with lifelink.
All right, it's not Doom Traveler. Doom Traveler is better because the token it leaves behind is a flyer. I'm still bothered by the size of this guy's head.
It's the perspective is screwed up.
Yeah, so David, whatever, get your shit together, artist.
The card's like good.
Yeah, the card's fine. Limited, I think it's fine. It replaces itself.
Hypothesizal.
Thank you for pronouncing that because I was gonna
the best named card in the set.
All right.
It's a 5 blue and red instant. Draw 2, then you may discard a non-land card. When you do, it deals 4 damage to target creature.
Damn.
So once again, because of the way this is worded, you don't have to choose targets until after you draw your cards.
Right.
It's weird that they don't allow you to discard a land. Like, oh my gosh, that would just be too much value in this 5 mana spell.
Kind of looks like you. Badass art.
I don't think this is entirely impossible to be played in standard.
And Jeskai build.
Something like that. It kills something and draws you cards at instant speed.
I think it's fine.
It is expensive.
Yeah, I was gonna say it might be a little bit too expensive, but we'll see. We got the promo card here for some reason.
Impervious Great Worm.
There you go, guys. This is a good way to shameless plug.
Yeah, it's a 10 mana 16/16 Convoke Indestructible.
Yeah, you get it by pre-ordering your box here at Collector Legion. Make sure to call and pre-order. Get yourself a nice shiny Impervious Great Worm. Now let's talk about how good it is.
Yeah, it's no Nexus of Fate.
Correct.
It's not even good because Galt is just better than it.
Yep. And of course, this doesn't die to Ass Trophy on me.
No, it doesn't.
Damn. Best card in the set. Doesn't die.
It also doesn't have any form of evasion, so you can just chump
trample,
block the 16/16 worm.
Yeah. Pre-ordered today.
Can we just agree that the names of the abilities don't matter? Like that worm doesn't have trample. Okay, then it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It has Convoke. Sure, it doesn't matter.
Inescapable Blaze, 6 mana instant, can't be countered, deals 6 damage to any target.
I don't like it because we already have Banefire.
So this card is basically like if you need an uncounterable burn spell against control, but for some reason hitting 7 mana off your Banefire is not doable.
Sure.
You just absolutely need to cast this on curve on turn 6. Sure.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it won't see play.
All right.
Except in limited.
Pop culture reference. What are they playing homage to here?
What are they paying homage to?
Yeah.
It's a guy running away from a fire.
It's a fireball. Well, or a ball. I'll give you a hint. Oh no, that's Jurassic Park.
Yeah, what are you talking about?
This
is not indie.
It is Indiana Jones.
No.
Yes, it is. Look at him.
The Rock wasn't on fire.
I know The Rock wasn't on fire. This is the closest thing they have to pay homage to it, though.
Indiana Jones wore a red cape BDSM suit.
I mean, the point of homage is not to copy it exactly. It is to replicate the scenario. This is a guy running away from a giant ball.
On fire in the street.
I mean, I'm going to stab you by the end of this. Indiana Jones homage. If you agree, let me know in the comments before.
No, Stone Idol Trap from Zendikar was an Indiana Jones homage.
All right, we're pulling up this card. We're pulling up this. What did we call this?
Stone Idol Trap. Idol. Like with an O.
Oh, Idol. There it is. From World Wake.
Okay, from World Wake, yeah. That's an Indiana Jones homage.
Yeah, it's also a homage. Like, I can argue and be like, okay, this card doesn't have snakes in it or the light pillars to unlock the cave on the ground. But, like, that's just overdoing it. Like, the point is, you know what? We're spending way too much time. I'm right, Ami. You're wrong. We're going to move forward. Let us know who's right. Is that a homage to Indiana Jones or not?
We're on Inspiring next. Inspiring Unicorn. It's a 4 mana white 2/2. When it attacks, creatures you control get +1/+1 until end of turn.
I think it costs too much. It's decent and limited. I don't think it's going to see play anything past that.
I agree with everything you just said.
Yeah. Magic card. Split card time.
Integrity or Intervention.
I fucking love this card.
It is a red-white hybrid. Target creature gets +2/+2 instant, or it is a 4 mana Lightning Helix.
Yeah, never mind. This isn't the card I was thinking about. This card's just fine. If it gets used, I'm sure. Like, it's versatile early and late game, right?
Well, half of it is a War Leader's Helix, which saw play the last time it was in Standard, and it's War Leader's Helix with another card attached to it.
Yep, 4 mana Helix.
When are we going to get 3 mana Helix?
Oh, man. We already do. Bump in the night.
All right, Intrusive Pack Beast is a 4-white Vigilance 3/3. When it enters, tap 2 target creatures your opponents control.
Limited, drafting, and or constructed, whatever. I mean, not constructed. This card's good. It helps you take that extra turn you need for damage, take somebody off or out. Besides that, I think that's all there is to say about the card.
Yep.
Teaching people how to draft on me. You should hold seminars. Just tell them don't be bad.
Mm-hmm. Now we have, what is this? Invert or Invent.
Yes.
It is a blue-red hybrid instant. Switched the power and toughness of target creature, or of 2 target creatures. And Invent is a 6 mana red and blue spell. Search your library for an instant card and or a sorcery card. Reveal them, put them into your hand, shuffle your library. I think neither halves of this card are any good at all.
I didn't feel anything radiant that.
Ionize is a 1 blue-red instant counter target spell. Deals 2 damage to its controller.
This is dope. This is amazing.
It's a fine counter spell. A bunch of people have brought up that it's a hard counter that doesn't cost double blue, which is
right.
An observation. I think this card's just worse than Sinister Sabotage, though, which is also in Standard now.
Yeah.
People have also talked about this for Modern, and oh my god, I cannot see this in Modern. It's 3 mana, which the only way I could see it in Modern is if it somehow winds up in the blue-red Wizards tempo burn deck.
Oh, that'd be interesting. That art, though.
Because that deck plays like Mutavault, and so it might actually want a hard counter that doesn't cost double blue.
Just finished closing out the game.
Yeah.
Iron Shell Beater. Cost 2. It's an insect. It's a 1/1. Enters the battlefield. Put a +1/+1 counter on target creature.
So it can itself be a bear or bear something else.
Or yeah. That's not too bad. I think it's fine. Being able to like put the +1 counters on a creature with Mentor so that when it attacks it can grow something else is actually not that bad.
Yeah, so if you're playing green cards in your Mentor deck somehow, that'll work.
Yeah. I agree. Shut up on me.
Izoni Thousand-Eyed is a 2 black green legendary elf shaman 2/3. When it enters, you create a 1/1 black and green insect token for each dead creature, and it has black green. Sack another creature, you gain 1 life and draw a card. This is the card that I'm most excited about for the green black Turbo Dredge deck.
Yep, because like you were mentioning before, this is a sack outlet that we have to do certain effects that we want.
Well, I like it just because you can create an absurd amount of tokens with it.
It enters with tokens, cards in the graveyard. Hot. It is legendary, so what are we thinking about? 3 max?
I think you could even play 4 if it's a good enough payoff.
Okay.
Unfortunately, all the stupid tokens die to stupid Chain Whirler.
Yeah, I'm glad you got on that subject before I did. I was going to say, you know what's interesting about those tokens? They died to Chain Whirler.
Mm-hmm.
Some more beautiful art here.
All right, 5 mana green and white instant. Untap all creatures you control. They gain hexproof and indestructible until end of turn. This is way too expensive for this effect.
Say no more.
Although you can play it in limited.
Yeah,
so you can like ambush people with it. Justice Strike.
All right. It is in Boros colors. Costs 2 mana. Instant target creature deals damage to itself equal to its power. On paper, it sounds good, right?
Because it's kind of like a Terminate. It's certain creatures it won't kill, but most of the time it will kill them.
And that's what I wanted to talk about. Like, if you notice in the set, we have a lot of... So it works both ways. We do have a lot of, like, 2 3s, 4 5s, things with bigger butts. But then we have things that are X1s.
Yeah, so it doesn't kill Aurelia, for example.
Correct. I mean, if you use Aurelia's ability on herself, then you can.
The card is very powerful, and it has how played it is entirely depends on the makeup of creatures in the metagame. If there's too many things that this doesn't kill, then you won't play it. But otherwise, it's fine.
Yeah, it's a solid card that like Ami mentioned, you just need to see what happens with it first. But keep an eye out for this card. Card seems pretty good. I love that art on it too. Just a damn angel standing over a dead demon. Oh, baby. Are you ready on me?
Yep.
Are you ready for this? Oh, man. All right. Knight of Autumn. All right. This is a human. Now, you're going to look at me and look at the card and said, but Salvador, that doesn't have a human archetype. That it doesn't matter. Neither does Reclamation Sage. What I mean by that is this will replace Reclamation Sage or Kasali Primage on the sideboard for humans.
So just a brief rundown. It's a 1 green white 2/1. It enters the battlefield. Choose 1. Put 2/1 counters on it. Destroy target artifact or enchantment or gain 4 life. So it is just better than Rex Sage.
Yes. Just better because it gives you the flexibility slots. Like you're able, if you need to apply pressure on a control deck, it lets you just pump it up by 2. If you're having to deal with all these like artifacts, enchantments, Blood Moon, it lets you get that off the table. And if you just happen to be playing against a burn deck or you're about to die in a swing back, this also just helps you not die.
Yeah.
So decks that also like would consider this, let's say for modern, are the Bat deck. Like any deck that has Reclamation Stage in its sideboard, minus let's say Scape Shift, are going to be running this deck.
Decks that don't have white.
Yeah. Non-white decks that run Rec Sage will not be running this. Everybody else will be running this card. As for standard, I think it'll be fine. I think this will see definitely play.
It's a 3-mana 4/3.
Yep, and I do believe this will be a 3 to 4 of in the main board, like guaranteed.
4 of main board.
Yeah, 4 of main board. It deals with things like Search for Azcanta, which are like super troublesome. What are other things that it deals with?
Conclave Tribunal, just a bunch of random stuff.
Yep, it's great. And against the very aggro matchups, you're just bringing it in, gaining 4 life, and you have a chump blocker on board.
It also makes it's another good card against burn in modern, which is always a good thing.
Yep. Oh yeah, anything that goes against burn is excellent. So fuck you, burn. Knight of Autumn is great. Knight of Autumn is a human by association.
All right, Crawl Foragers is a 5-mana 4/4 green. When it enters the battlefield, you gain 1 life for each creature card in your graveyard.
That graveyard strategy. I don't think this is going to go in there though. Correct? Cost too much.
I disagree.
Sideboard
because the Turbo Graveyard deck has the problem of it plays all of these mill stuff, but it doesn't play cards that are good at blocking or killing things.
Okay.
So it can come down and just buy you the time you need to get going.
Okay, that's interesting. I thought you were going to be against this card for some reason.
No, I think it's great.
Okay, good. Man, I learned something about SalAmmi today.
Crawl Harpooner
Dog.
is a 1 green 3/2 in reach. But wait, it has more abilities. When it enters the battlefield, choose up to 1 target creature with flying you don't control. It gets +X+0 until end of turn, where X is the number of dead creatures, and then you can fight it.
Hot.
So it's good on rate already, and then if you randomly need to kill flyers like, I don't know, Baneslayer Angel, Demanding Dragon, Aurelia, you can kill them.
That's crazy. Oh, all right, we'll go on.
It's basically a modal good 2-drop / flying killer.
All right. Card, decent and limited.
Crawl Swarm is a 5-mana flying 4/1 that has 3 and discard a creature to return it from your graveyard to your hand. Yeah.
That's a Chain Whirler. All right, you got to speed it up some here.
Lava Coil.
Love this card.
Lava Coil is a 1 red sorcery. It deals 4 damage to target creature. If the creature would die, exile it. So obviously this is meant to kill like Rekindling Phoenix.
Oh yeah, this is a main board in any red strategy deck that's mid-range to aggro.
I don't agree.
Don't agree, dang.
So there was a card printed in Eldritch Moon, if you recall, and it was Incendiary Flow.
Was it a 2-drop?
It was a 2-mana deal 3 to anything, and if the creature died, it got exiled. And that card was a sorcery, and that card barely saw any play because the sorcery clause makes it so bad.
I think the 4 damage overrides the sorcery clause because it kills Steel Leaf Champion. It just kills a lot bigger things.
I think this card is only a sideboard card, and even then it's a mediocre one. It's only playable if the format is filled with like Steel Leaves and Rekindling Phoenixes, and you just need to kill them. Get them
off the board.
Yeah. Lazav the Multifarious.
Yeah.
Is a blue-black 1/3 legendary. When it enters Surveil 1 and it has X, it becomes a copy of target creature in your graveyard with converted mana cost X, except it's still Lazav and still has the copy ability.
Yep. The card's good. There were test playing against it. I think JMB had this out, and as things were dying just naturally, or he was surveilling down, this thing took on the body form of like 4 different creatures that, depending on the situations, were just like amazing. Legendary is the only thing that holds us back, but besides that, I think it's like a fine, fair card.
I think this card is being massively overrated.
Correct. I mean, I'm not saying it's like amazing.
The body is not good. The fact that it's legendary and you can't stack them, even though it's a cheap creature, is also bad. And the X part of it, like that is a lot of mana to invest. Like that's a lot of things that have to go right. You have to have a worthwhile creature in your graveyard to copy it, enough mana to copy it, have the right situation that you want to copy it, and then they can still just kill your guy.
Yep. That does happen. Next one we have here is Guild Mage.
League Guild Mage is a blue-red 2/2, 3 blue draw card, 3 blue tap draw card, X red tap, copy target instant or sorcery spell with converted mana cost X, choose new targets.
It's fine.
Yep.
I don't think it's gonna. Limited. I mean, obviously this is great. Give you a mana sink to draw cards. Yeah, sure, why not? Besides that, I don't think it's going anywhere.
Yep. Leapfrog.
Damn, love this dude. Look at him.
He's a 2 blue, 3/1 frog that has flying as long as you've cast an instant or sorcery.
So you need cast a spell to give him flying. Besides that, he still dies to Chain Whirler. Limited, I think.
Yeah, but he's a limited card, so that's not relevant.
I mean, Chaos Draft. It dies to Pontiff.
Yep. Ladev Champion is a 1 green white 2/2 elf knight. When it attacks, you may tap any number of untapped creatures. It gets +1/+1 for each creature you tap this way, and it has 5 mana. Create a 1/1 white lifelink soldier.
I think it's just a very medium card. Limited, it's fine because you're able to, like, again, having mana sinks in limited, like your creatures having abilities, is really good. Besides that, I don't think this will see any kind of play.
Nope.
Agreed. Awesome. Oh man, we gotta cut some of these cards on me.
Ladev Guardian. Just move it through here. It's a 4 mana convoke 2/4. The body is not exciting, even if you can convoke this for cheap. Why do you want that? Because it's still just a 2/4.
Good old useless magic cards.
Legion Guild Mage. It's the Boros one. Its abilities are 5 red tap, deal 3 damage to each opponent, and 2 white tap, tap another target creature.
Ami, it's a human.
It is a human. It's also a wizard.
Damn, that's actually relevant. Abilities are fine and limited. I mean, it's
all she
just
wrote.
Okay. That's all. That's pretty much it. We're not gonna try to get spicy.
Legion War Boss.
You know what I love? We're Collector Legion, and there's so many cards in this, like, in standard set right now with the word Legion in it.
Yep.
Legion's Landing, Legion's War Boss, Legion's Edge. All right, so
it's very Rabblemaster-esque.
Yes,
obviously,
but it's not.
But it's not Rabblemaster, and it's not as good as Rabblemaster because it can't attack effectively.
Yep. So having this attack is he's always attacking as a 2/2. He is always so, like, he's good because the turn he comes in, he creates a 1/1. The next turn he creates another 1/1, and then the previous 1/1 can become a 2/2, and then he pretty much just grows all the goblins to be equally his size. Now, if you have something with Mentor that's a power 3 or greater, then you're able to grow him a little bit more efficiently.
So the problem here is that the play pattern is different. So Rabblemaster came down, made a token attack, and then it attacked, and it was a 4/2, and you couldn't effectively block it. Right?
I'll go to the restroom real quick. Correct.
So you couldn't block this card, and then you would, but this card doesn't get pumped. It pumps the token. So you attack with it, and then they can just block it with anything and kill it, or it dies to, Rabblemaster died to shock too, but the point is you can't really attack effectively with this card. Even the token that you're pumping up is still just a 2/2, so it's still not even that good to attack with either. So yes, it's reminiscent of Rabblemaster, but that change in its abilities makes it a lot worse. So you're going to need a way to attack with this. You're going to need a plethora of removal spells or ways to pump this card so that you can attack with it. All right. Just continue on here while Sal's in the restroom. You won't mind. These cards aren't worth really talking about much. So, Light of the Legions, a 6 mana 5/5 flying mentor. When it dies, put a +1 counter on each white creature you control. This creature looks like the rare that you would get in one of those intro decks. It's not good at all. That's all we need to say.
Bring in my big boy chair.
Yep. It's okay. I just covered like bad cards while you were gone.
You covered what part?
I covered a bad card while you were gone.
Yeah, that's good.
All right, so we can move on to Lotleth Giant, which is a 7 mana black 6/5, and it has, when it enters, it deals 1 damage to target opponent for each dead creature.
That sounds pretty dope, but it costs too much.
It does cost a lot. However, it has the potential to instant kill your opponent.
Right.
So I think you're perhaps supposed to combine this with the 5 mana Reanimate.
Okay.
Like you dump everything in your graveyard, then you reanimate this on turn 5, and you deal like 10 to them.
Ooh, that sounds good. That's not too bad. Pretty decent card.
So the big payoffs are obviously this card and a Zoni. I don't know which one's better.
Oh, we covered a Zoni?
Yeah, the one that makes tokens.
Oh yeah. You're right. I mean,
because they kind of do the same thing. This one just deals the damage immediately.
I just don't like that this costs 7.
This one also gets around Chain Whirler, so if that's a problem, you can just do this.
Yeah, but it dies to Ass Trophy.
Yep. Well, you're okay with that because they already dealt its damage.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, I love these.
All right, Loxodon Restorer is a 6 mana 3/4 with Convoke. When it enters, you gain 4 life.
Yep. I mean, I want to say I like this card, but I think spending too many turns just to cast this, I mean, I don't think it's worth it. Like, what are your tokens there for now at this point? Like, are you doing this token strategy just to be cute and convoke these things? Or are you trying to, like, find a game?
Yeah, your convoke things, even if they're cheap, they have to do something. And a 3/4 gain 4 is not good enough.
No. I love the art. And I love that they're giving elephants this, role of, like, convoke and being, like, helpful.
I don't like that he has, like, human hands, though.
Oh, that's weird. Yeah, he looks kind of creepy, too.
Yeah. All right, Luminous Bonds. It's a reprint. It's a removal spell unlimited. Yeah, it's an Ixalan.
Oh, man. Okay.
Yeah, we're done with that. All right.
That was fun.
Maniacal Rage. I believe this is also a reprint. 2 mana, enchant creature, gets +2/+2 and can't block. All right, sure.
Nice magic card.
March of the Multitudes.
All right, so this completes the final cycle in the Ravnica block of the
Gigantic X mythic spells.
Yes, and I think this card's actually fine. I think this card's great.
It's X green, white, instant convoke, create X/1/1 white lifelinkers.
Yeah, I think this card's great.
It's obviously a good payoff for having a bunch of tokens, but the problems are twofold. One, it's very expensive. You probably have to X has to equal 4 at least for you to be worth casting this.
Mm-hmm.
And then the tokens all die to Chain Whirler.
Yeah. I mean, not if you have the enchantment out, because then those tokens would come in as 4/4 angels.
Yeah, but you can't do that. Well, that enchantment, well, sure, but like anything's good with that.
Yeah. Let me just correct somebody in the chat since they're being wrong.
Yeah.
All right, so let's go ahead and get rid of some stuff.
All right, Mausoleum Secrets.
Hot.
It is a 1 black instant. You search your library for a black card with converted mana cost less than or equal to the number of dead creatures and put it in your hand.
Awesome. This card is amazing.
It's great, but I just don't know what you're supposed to do with it.
You go turn 2, Street Wraith, assuming that's the only first thing that goes in, or turn 3, Street Wraith, then play this and go get your Death Shadow.
Yeah, but is that good enough? Like you can only fetch Death Shadow.
Yeah, but I still feel this should be better in the Death Shadow builds than Traverse. I mean,
Traverse is 1 mana
I
fixes your lands.
Could be wrong. Yes,
and fetches Gurmag Anglers also, and like other things that you want, or fetches Snapcaster.
This
thing, you can also like Legacy Reanimator. You can fetch the actual card Reanimate with it.
Yeah, that's fair.
In Modern, what can you do? As for Told Living End, you can fetch Living End.
You can fetch all the things.
I think the problem with it right now is there's no like combo deck necessarily that this grabs a piece and you just win the game immediately, or a deck that has like enough things that you want to go get with it. In Modern, you can also grab Goryo's Vengeance, so it can be extra copies of that. So the cards
Ad Nauseam could use this card.
I'm not saying the card's bad. The card's very, very good. It's just Ad Nauseam cannot use this. There's no way you can get enough creatures in your graveyard.
It's based off creatures.
Yeah.
I'm dumb.
So the card is very good. I just don't think it has a correct shell to be put in right now. I think the best shell for it is probably Modern Goryo's Vengeance.
That'd be hot.
Because like Faithless Looting, discard 2 thing. They would have to play Street Wraith in their deck though to fuel it. But you basically get 2 creatures in your graveyard, either Faithless Looting or Street Wraith or whatever, and then you go, and then it's additional copies of Goryo's Vengeance that take a turn.
That's fair. Like our girl Aria says here, it's a deck thinner late game.
Yeah. All right. In Standard, I don't know if it'll do anything.
Nah, Limited is just like meh.
All right, Maximize Altitude.
When you're desperate for Slaughter Pact.
Yeah. Blue sorcery. Target creature gets +1/+1 and gains flying. Jumpstart. The card's not that good, but it's always nice to have these really cheap effects.
Evasions, yes.
Yeah.
I like it. Like if this didn't have Jumpstart, I would be like, this is just bad. I think it's fine in limited.
Yeah, it's another one of those, like any kind of effects like this where they're incredibly cheap, you always have to look at, like for Infect, although Infect has Distortion Strike, which is just better than this. But it's cheap enough that you might want it.
Yeah, it's not too bad.
Then we've got Maximum Velocity. Is a red sorcery. Target creature gets +1/+1 and haste with Jumpstart.
Yeah.
This one's probably better than the other one.
Yes, that's what I was going to say. Like, I like this one better than the other one. Maybe like 50% of that is just due to the damn art.
Yeah, look at how good that art is.
That is fucking. He's like, I need goggles.
Do that again. I didn't see that.
Oh, yeah, the art's great. The card's just fine.
Yeah.
Limited will be fine. I like it. I mean, as Jumpstart, cheap cards with Jumpstart are great.
All right, Mephitic Vapors is a 2-black sorcery. All creatures get -1/-1. Surveil 2.
So, I'm wondering why they made this card. Why couldn't they just give it a 2/2 negative effect?
Because we already have that. Golden Demise.
I hate when you're right on me. Best case scenario, you cast this twice in one. Oh, no, it doesn't have Jumpstart.
So this is, it's like a
style.
sideboard card. Is there a deck that has a bunch of 1 toughness creatures in it? And
token
then you can
strategies.
surveil?
Like, I'd bring this in. Like, if I was a black deck and I played against a token strategy, I'd definitely bring this in against them.
Yep.
The surveil is just like the added bonus.
Okay, where are we? Midnight Reaper.
Ooh, baby. Which one's this one?
2 black, 3/2. Whenever a non-token creature you control dies, it deals 1 damage to you and you draw a card.
Do I like this card?
It is quite good. You can sack stuff and draw cards. It counts for itself, which these cards usually don't. So if they kill it, you at least get a card off of it.
Board wipe effects. You just redraw everything back.
Yep. I think the card's pretty good.
Yeah. Why isn't it a human?
Because it's a zombie.
Damn. Stupid zombies.
All right.
It used to be a human.
Where are we? Might of the Masses. I believe this is a reprint.
This is a reprint, yes. Might of the Masses is a reprint.
Green instant. Target creature gets +1/+1 till end of turn for each creature you control. This card's bad.
Yeah. I hope we die to it for calling it bad now.
Yeah. Mission Briefing.
The Spellcaster Mage.
Spellcaster Mage. So the differences are you don't get the body, and it doesn't target the thing in your graveyard, and it doesn't give it flashback. It just lets you cast it.
Wait, what did you say? It doesn't target?
It doesn't target. Yeah, you can't like surgical in response to counter the spell or anything. You also get to surveil too. So the big difference is here. Craig Wesco pointed out. He basically said the difference between this and Snapcaster is the difference between Eternal Witness and Recollect, where basically the spell version's worthless. I don't agree, because this card at least has Surveil 2 on it. Right. Also, Snapcaster is a significantly better card than Eternal Witness.
Okay. And this lets you put the target into the graveyard if you need it.
Yeah, so the card has Surveil 2 on it, so it's a card that you are... Like, you could always cast Snapcaster as just a guy. This you can cast as a Surveil 2. So here's the big differences as I see it. So you don't get the body, which is worse. You do get the Surveil. The Surveil is not as good as having the body. The fact that it's double blue, I think, is the biggest drawback. It's harder to cast things with it. It's harder to cast it, and it's harder to cast other spells with it, especially blue spells. And in Legacy specifically, since it doesn't give the cards flashback, it just lets you cast them. You can alternative cast Force of Will and Daze with it.
That's funny. Oh, nice. Arya clipped the... Do it again? It's not working for some reason. Oh, well. Hopefully it gets fixed.
But I think this card is quite good. It's probably... So, here's the issue. Standard has worse mana than Modern, but Modern has Snapcaster Mage.
Yep.
So, this card, I think, will see play if Standard manages to have a mana base that's good enough to cast it, or if Modern has a want for additional Snapcaster Mages. Which I think... Like if you want more than 4 copies.
And what, Modern?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, I think it'd be the 5th. I think
also, Legacy, if you want to be able to alt cast your forces and dazes from the graveyard.
Yeah. Like,
or if there's a reason that the Surveil 2 is more useful to you than the body.
I can see this in like a sneak and show or show and tell strategy.
Yeah, I think it has the card is very powerful.
Potential. Yeah, it's really good.
Everyone just compares it to Snapcaster Maiden. It's like it's not as good as Snapcaster Maiden.
I also feel like it's very, very unfair to like compare it to that.
All right.
What was that, like 4-drop creature that attacked? Nah.
All right.
Think about a different creature.
Moving on. Mythic. Mnemonic Betrayal, 1 blue black, and it's basically just Yawgmoth's Will, but you Yawgmoth's Will your opponent's graveyard instead of your own.
Which is great.
Oh no.
I think that's great.
No. This card is so bad.
Is it only instants and sorceries, or
it's anything? I think. Yeah.
I want to say you're wrong and just leave it up to time to prove one of us right or wrong.
Okay, so first of all, so it exiles the cards, but then they return if you don't cast them, so it doesn't really exile them.
Okay.
Secondly, so here's the thing. So Yawg Will gets played in like Storm decks, where basically the whole point is you have to build your deck around using Yawgmoth's Will. But this card is your opponent's cards, so you can't build your deck around it.
So your opponent needs to have good cards.
So your opponent has to have cards, so you can't like combo with your opponent's graveyard. So then that means you're casting this to get like value stuff, like mid-range value cards off of it, which means you're paying 3 mana for Mnemonic Betrayal, and then how much mana do you have open to even cast anything from your opponent's graveyard? Maybe like 2 or 3, so you can cast a 2 or 3 drop from your opponent's graveyard on turns 5 or 6. That's awful. And then you think about this for EDH, like, oh, but you have all this mana. Okay, so then you're randomly hoping that your opponents have good things that you want to cast, and you have enough mana to cast all the things. This card is so incredibly bad.
Yeah, I think this card, fine in standard.
This card will only be held up by casual EDH players loving it, but it's going to be a sub $2 card just for that reason. If it weren't for EDH, this card would be bulk.
That's true. I mean, I'm gonna go ahead and with the I want to time to prove us right or wrong.
No, trust me, this card is bad. This is the worst rare in the set.
Damn, yeah. Ami pudding. All right, we'll see where this goes, Ami. I mean, we have proof. I can be like, see, Ami, I told you I was right.
Yep.
And Ami can be like, shut up, Sal. I told you you were wrong. All the way over here.
No. Down 1, left 1. All right, Molder Hulk is a 9 mana green and black 6/6. It costs 1 less to cast for each dead creature, and when it enters the battlefield, return target land from your graveyard to the battlefield. I have no idea why it has that second ability, because even if you're cost reducing it, you probably still have a lot of mana. So it's
when it's
weird.
The battlefield, return target line card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Oh shit, damn, that costs a lot.
Yeah, it costs too much, even with the cost reducer. We've even had Ghoul Tree from Shadows or whatever it was, and that card was even bigger and cost less, and that card didn't see any play.
This card has text on it.
Well, hang on. Moonmark Painter is a 4 mana 2/3, and then when it enters the battlefield, target creature gains menace and gains plus X0, where X is the number of dead creatures. This card reminds me of the Devotion card from Theros.
Gray Merchant?
Not Gray Merchant, the other one. The one that give like menace and haste to all your guys. This is obviously worse than that. It's more expensive and it only gives it to 1 creature. But depending on how many like creatures you can get in your graveyard, and I think the Golgari decks can put a ton of creatures into their graveyard, this could give a huge pump to something.
And the menace effect is
you could potentially like, okay, you mill all these creatures into your graveyard, and then you have a guy on, you have like a Stitcher Supplier in play or whatever, and then you play this and you go +7 attack. So I don't think it's entirely like, I don't think the card is actually that good. It's probably not going to see play, but it is not. It's not a write-off.
Like people should test it first.
Yeah,
that's interesting because I was ready to just write it off as trash.
Similarly, a card that you're ready to write off as trash. We've got Murmuring Mystic, which is a 3 blue 1/5. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery or something, you get a 1/1, which is. It's like a way, way, way worse Monastery Mentor.
Yeah. All right. This card is good in limited only.
Muse Drake. It's not even that good in limited.
I know. I was going to say, like, the draw card makes it fine. I think it's fine just because of the draw. The body's trash.
Yep.
I'm body shaming here, guys. Sorry.
Moving on, we've got Narcomoeba.
Yay! I wish we had like a soundboard. I'm gonna get a soundboard in here. So
Narcomoeba's back.
Awesome. You know what makes up Narcomoeba? I mean, clearly you know why Narcomoeba in this set is amazing.
Yep.
Surveil.
And also Stitch of Supplier and Glowspore Shaman and like all the other things that mill stuff.
Free shit. That's really what I gotta say.
Yep.
What bait do you cast to catch a dream? Can you answer that? No, you don't have dreams. I mean, you're a robot.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that answers my favorite question of my favorite book. Do robots dream of electric sheep? I'm going to give you the test, dude.
So, Necrotic Wound is a black instant. Target creature gets -X, where X is your dead creature, as if it would die, exile it.
Good?
So, the card is obviously cheap, but the problem is conditional removal.
Yeah.
So the thing is, you can't cast this early. Like, it's not actually 1 mana.
But it does get better the longer the games drag out.
Yeah, I don't know how good this is. It seems kind of bad just because it's conditional removal. It's like it doesn't line up properly with things.
Sure. I'm trying to get
it does, however, like exile Rekindling Phoenix. It kills all the big things that you need help with. So, again, it's another card that I encourage testing with.
Okay, yeah. I think it's an excellent card.
All right. Never Happened.
Never. Is that actually the name?
Yeah, never happened. 2 black, target opponent, sorcery. Target opponent reveals their hand. You choose a non-land card from it, and that player, graveyard or hand, and exile it.
That's pretty good.
Nah. It's 3 mana.
It costs too much. The art is a little too cartoony for me.
Well, it's like anime art, kind of.
Yeah, I know.
Well, it's not even anime art. It's like low quality
freeway insurance art.
Yeah.
Whoa. Almost done goofed that up. Ooh, Night Veil.
Night Veil Predator, the double Dimir card. It's a 4 mana flying Death Touch Hexproof 3/3, which is not good enough in standard.
Flying Death Touch Hexproof?
Yeah, it's not good enough in standard.
So what would it need? Surveil?
It would need to be bigger.
Bigger?
Yeah.
Let's see that art. Are they headless?
Or have additional abilities, yeah. But what it has on it... No, it's just a vampire.
That's pretty dope.
Yep.
Trash card.
The art is so good in this set.
Oh, Arya? Yeah, Arya is good in this set.
Night Veil Sprite is a 1 blue, 1/2 flyer. When it attacks, surveil 1.
Decent and limited. I don't think...
it could be a role player in standard if there's the surveil deck. Because it just lets you surveil every turn.
That's good. No modern, right? Nah, it does nothing.
No, it's not modern. So one thing to note is so there's this set, and then the next set is all the other guilds, and the third set, we have no way of knowing if any of these mechanics are returning.
Right.
But they've specifically, the last time we did this, they had Dragon's Maze, which they just shoved all the guild mechanics into the third set, and they've said that was a mistake.
Okay.
So we have to proceed under the assumption that all of the cards that we're seeing, like, that's all you get.
Okay.
All the surveil cards that we have, that's all the surveil you're going to get.
That's
so whether it's good enough or not, you can't hold out hope that the third set's going to salvage it.
Fair enough. Next we have is
Niv Mizzet Parun, which is blue, 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 red, red, red.
Blue, 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 red, red, red?
Yeah, it's a legendary 5/5 dragon wizard that can't be countered, has flying. Whenever you draw a card, deal 1 damage to any target. Whenever a player casts an instant or sorcery spell, you draw a card.
This is a fine sideboard option in standard for the control mirrors. If they're going to exist in these
colors. Because it at least eats a card from them, and
yeah.
I mean, probably eats a card from them. You can obviously Teferi it or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's... Niv Mizzet is always like a cool character, but he's never a good card. And this card is... I don't even know if this is the best Niv Mizzet. It's probably the best Niv Mizzet out of the 3, but it's the hardest to cast.
So it's the best Niv Mizzet as in standalone? Like by himself? Because I know the other Niv Mizzets have like combos that they can like go off of.
Yeah.
So this is the best individual Niv Mizzet without any additional spice on them.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. I like that. As for standard, I think this will see some play.
People have talked about using Sarkhan, but like I think if you have Sarkhan and you're getting up to dragons, there's probably better options.
Yeah, like you have Demanding Dragon and other things to be able to cast a lot better.
Mm-hmm.
someone's making a good point that you can cast this in Storm. I don't think this is what Storm wants to be doing, though, right?
No, it's 6 mana, incredibly difficult to cast spell.
Yeah. So, good card.
How are you casting this on Storm on turn 2? You'd have to have how many rituals and monomorphoses do you need to make that work? You have 2 mana. You need to cast 3 rituals, right?
I'm not doing the
3,
math.
4, 5, 6. You need to cast 4 rituals and 2 monomorphos.
Damn. Damn, your favorite card on me. I like this card.
Notion Rain. 1 blue, black, sorcery, surveil 2, then draw 2. It deals 2 damage to you.
All right, so we're going to cover the card first, and then I'm going to ask you a question on me.
Okay, well, the card's good.
The card's really good.
I actually never liked Read the Bones. I always thought the rate on it was not worth it, but this card is better than Read the Bones. I think it's finally worth it.
Surveil 2, then draw 2 cards. Notion Rain deals 2 damage to you. That's 100% fine.
Yep.
I don't like that it's damage for some reason. I feel like that should have been life loss.
Who knows why they make these decisions?
Yeah. Now, what's the homage to this card?
Probably Blade Runner.
No. Big Booty Snatcher. What's up, G?
Oh, is this Matrix?
Yeah. There it is.
The things.
Yeah, it's the Matrix.
Down.
Yeah. That's pretty dope. Black coat. Give it the Matrix thing. Big Booty Snatcher. In the house.
But it's like blue symbols, so not green symbols, so it doesn't count.
Just.
Moving on.
Moving on. Where we at?
Nullhide Ferox.
Damn. Okay, so I don't. All right, let's talk about the card.
Okay, so it's a 2 green 6/6 hexproof. You can't cast non-creature spells. 2 mana. It loses all abilities until end of turn. Any player may activate this, and then it has the Obstinate Baloth effect. If your opponent causes you to discard it, you can put it onto the battlefield.
All right. How good are you rating this card?
So, a couple of things to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
The art is so incredibly goofy.
Okay.
2, if this card winds up being good and seeing a lot of play, Nicol Bolas is crap.
Okay.
3, the card, I think, is pretty good. It obviously doesn't have any sort of evasion or trample, but it's a very big body. It basically has the Frost Titan effect.
Yep.
It restricts your deck building such that you can't be playing too many spells and you can't be playing expensive spells. So it's a very difficult card to evaluate. I think the card is actually impossible to evaluate without actually seeing how the standard metagame shakes out and how decks are built.
That's fair.
But it looks good.
Yes, that's what I was gonna say. Like it's hard to write off as this card's bad, get rid of it. Mm-hmm. But you also can't say it's great. Which I feel that's how I feel like about a lot of cards recently. Like I've gotten to the point where I'm just like trying not to say a card is good or bad. Like I want to see, like I'm hopeful of a lot of cards, and this is one of those. Like I was gonna cover the art too. Like out of all the art from all of them, like this is the goofiest looking art. Mm-hmm. That's how, and it's fucking great. I mean, it's you look at it and you're just like, damn, that's dope. I like the hexproof portion of it. I like that both players can.
And you know what? I want them to just get rid of hexproof. Just make it Frost Titan's ability, the counter, unless they pay 2 more.
Unless they pay 2 more.
Like these mechanics that say, "Oh, you just can't interact with me," are awful. Does anyone like hexproof? Aside from Boggles players, does anyone like hexproof?
You want to interact with your opponents, on me.
Yeah.
I know that. I mean, I'm with you there. I hate hexproof, but I don't think it's worth getting rid of. I think they should. I think it should be Shroud. I think my opponent shouldn't be able to abuse the card as well. Mm-hmm. Like hexproof sucks because they can pump it. You can't deal with the card. That's why I do believe Shroud should be like what overrides hexproof. But I mean, Shroud came first and they improved it to hexproof, so they might have some plan thought. It's a good card. I like the last ability. I think the last ability is just fine. Whether it sees play for modern or not, I highly doubt it. But
Obstinate Baloth already sees a little modern play in like Titan Shift sideboards.
Yeah, but imagine you like tick up a Lily and discard this bad boy.
But this card's not actually hexproof because they can still pay for it.
Correct, but imagine giving them this free card.
Yeah. So the question is this better? Because I think like doesn't Titan Shift want Obstinate Baloth also to fight burn decks and stuff?
Yes, that's why they do it.
Yeah, so I don't know if this sees play over that.
Plus, like they have a good matchup against the green-black discard decks anyway. So it's not like they need a win more card.
So for this to see play in Modern, it has to be in a deck that already wants to play Obstinate Baloth, but specifically only to counter the Liliana Thoughtseize decks, and not because they want it for burn.
That's fair.
But in Modern, you just want versatile sideboard cards.
Little kid could run this. They run 0 non-creature spells. They already run Leaf Lieges, 4 of, and like 2 Obstinate Baloth in the main board. Whatever. The point is, we want to see good things come out of this card. Correct?
Yeah.
Okay. We agree at least on that part.
Also, the price that it's at right now is absurd, though.
What's
like
it going
it's not.
for?
It's like it's like $15 or something. Like that's too much for
That's
what
way
that
too
card
much.
is. Anyway, Ocarina Assassin, 1 black green, 1/1 death touch. All creatures able to block it must do so.
Good card if you're able to pump it and they have like a really, really wide board.
It's even good just normally because it like lures all their creatures, so all of your guys get through, and then this kills their best creature.
And you get to choose. Yeah, you kill their best creature. That's true. This card's good. It's not a human. Why?
It is an elf though.
That's true. Elves does get a good spicy card.
It's not good enough for constructed though.
Hey, as a one for elves, this is
no, it's not good enough.
Well, I mean, you just mentioned the line of this card forces all their creatures to block it, and elves usually can just like get in with their pump spells for lethal.
It's not good enough.
Johnny, I'm looking at you, dog. Test this out. Prove I'm wrong. You know Johnny's gonna try it, dog.
Omnispell Adept is a 4 blue 3/4 human wizard that has 2 blue tap. You may cast an instant or sorcery card from your hand without paying its cost.
Great card. Great card.
Are you trolling me here?
I'm not.
The card is awful.
I think this card's fine. You're able to cast like all the big.
Okay, so it's
spells.
5 mana, 3/4. So the rate is really bad. You can't use it the turn it enters. And then so you're cheating spells with it.
Mm-hmm.
So that means you're paying expensive spells that you can't otherwise cast or would be too inefficient to cast if you don't have this. Mm-hmm. So your deck is filled with a bunch of clunky garbage. And then let's say best case scenario, you get this out, they don't kill it, you untap with it, you have an expensive spell in your hand, and you're able to use this. What are you casting that's worth it?
Nexus of Faith.
Okay. So you take another turn, then what?
Take another turn.
Do you have another Nexus of Fate?
Probably.
Okay, what happens when you run out of Nexus of Fates?
You play fucking Part the Water Veils.
In Modern?
Yeah.
Yeah, what are we doing with this in Standard? Nothing.
Nothing. Absolutely nothing. This card's trash.
Yeah, so you're trolling me earlier then.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just want to ruffle you up a little there, Almi. All right. Cards, garbage. Let's see what else. Let's try to get a non-garbage card in here. Is this a non-garbage card?
Probably not. Or Ornery Goblin, 1 red, 2/1. Whenever it blocks or becomes blocked, deals 1 damage to the creature.
That card had text on it.
Pax Favor is a 2 green instant convoke. Target creature gets +3/+3 until end of turn.
I think this is fine.
We already had a Gather Courage was the convoke card,
Yep.
but it cost 1 mana.
Yeah.
This cost 3 mana.
I think this is still fine. Salute. Yeah, the card's fine. I love the art on it too.
Yep.
I hope there's some kind of...
Get ready to be ambushed by your opponent having no mana untapped in limited, and then you attack and you're like, bam.
Yeah. Block, convoke. Blow you out.
Yep.
Damn.
Parhelion Patrol is a 3 white, 2/3 flying vigilance mentor. It's also a human.
It is.
Mm-hmm.
The card's fine and limited. I think that's all we have to say.
Yep. Pass Wall Adept.
Ooh,
It's a 1 blue, 1/3 human wizard. 2 blue, target creature can't be blocked this turn. It's okay and limited.
It's okay. It's not anything special, but it will live.
Pause for Reflection. It's a 3 mana convoke fog. We got more fogs.
Another fog effect?
Yep.
This one has convoke, but usually decks with...
But usually decks that are playing
don't-
lots of creatures don't want fog.
Right. So, I mean, if it's another fog effect they want, sure, let's go for it. Bad card. I mean, it's fine.
Yep.
Oh, baby.
Pelt
All right,
Collector.
All right, dog.
Otherwise known as Experiment 2.
Experiment 2. For those who don't get the reference, Experiment 1 is a card. Look it up. It's funny.
Green 1/1. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control or dies, If its power is greater than Pelt Collector, put a +1/+1 on Pelt Collector, and as long as it has 3 or more +1 counters on it, it has trample.
Card is fucking great.
Is it really? Because it doesn't look good to me.
I think it's fine. I think the die effect is what makes it great, because it just keeps growing. A mid-range.
Maybe I'm underestimating the death effect.
Yes, I think you're extremely underestimating the death effect. Like, the death effect allows you to attack into like a board state where, like, they have to think if they're gonna take the damage, it's fine, and if they trade off creatures, then you're just growing another one. And if they don't have the answer for him, like once he gets up to like a 3, like once he's like a 4/4, 5/5, as you're attacking, like it's just bonkers.
So you play it, and then you play.
You played it in a mid-range type of strategy deck. So you play him with some form of removal. You play him with a little bit bigger creatures that are entering and growing him, and then you just like apply pressure, and he just grows with them.
I think I just tunnel vision. I think I was just like, it's so reminiscent of Experiment 1, which wasn't very good.
Which is why you just like.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I said, I feel it's worth a shot in a second look at it. I don't believe it's gonna be like something amazing, like, or scary to deal with, but it's. I want to see good things out of this deck, like an Obzon strategy or Sultai. Even Sultai is fine. Like, they have a lot of like good stuff.
All right.
So, I mean, I really hope this card's good.
All right, Pilfering Imp is a black 1/1 flyer, and it has 1 black tap. Sack Pilfering Imp. Target opponent reveals their hand. You choose an online card from it. They discard it. Activate this only anytime you cast a sorcery.
So, at best, you play it, you attack. Nope, they can attack and do the same effect at the same time. At best, it's a 3 mana duress.
Well, you get creatures as well, but
can you? Non-land card, sure.
I don't think it's unplayable in standard. It's like you'd have to be playing against the right type of deck. It's probably like an anti-control card.
Yeah, like I want to write it off as bad. Like the only bad thing about it is the Dice Chain Whirler, but
you're not gonna play it against Chain Whirler. You're gonna play it against like Teferi, where it's a dude and then you hit them a few times and then you can just use it when you need to.
Yeah. So you hit them a turn and the next turn you just activate it,
or it's just a guy, you keep attacking them with it, and then when you're ready to like cast your big spell, you activate this. Yeah. Take their counter spell and then cast your other spell.
Yeah, that's hot. Interesting card, should be considered in sideboard. Even like the mono black budget decks, I think this is actually fine. Mm-hmm. That's a really good card. Interesting card, right?
Yeah. All right, Piston Fist Cyclops is another card I think is
this a reprint? This looks like a reprint.
No, it's not. It's just very similar art to the other Cyclops that we've seen before.
It's also the thing that dies to the Replicate art.
Yeah, so it's a 1 blue-red 4/3 defender. As long as you've cast an instant or sorcery spell, it can attack as though it didn't have defender.
I think it's fine.
Yeah. So the problem with these cards, all of these like creatures that are big or they become big based on casting spells, is that you're playing these creatures and then you're playing spells, and just none of it works together.
Correct.
Like, it's a good rate. I don't know if it'll get anywhere. Pitiless Gorgon is a 1 green-black, Death Touch 2/2. It's a creature that has Death Touch.
Has magic cards.
Plague Crafter.
Bam. Only card worth considering in the whole It's a Human debate.
2 black, 3/2. Oh no, I think you're wrong there.
I'm sure I'm still wrong.
Oh, we're gonna get to it. So anyway, it's a 2 black, 3/2 human shaman. When it enters the battlefield, each player sacks a creature or planeswalker. Each player who can't discards a card. So this card is very reminiscent to obviously Fleshbag Marauder, and then there was Merciless Executioner from Khans.
Yep.
And this card's better. It's better stats,
3/2.
barely, but it's better stats, and it is a better effect.
Yep, because it has the ability to hit a planeswalker.
And if they have nothing, they discard. So so those other cards also have the problem of if your opponent had nothing on board, you just cast it and then did nothing. Yeah. Whereas this card always does something.
It goes up to their hand and hits them.
Yep. You're saying you consider this in Modern Humans?
No. I'm saying out of all the cards we've been joking about that are human, this is the best one.
So far,
yes.
I agree with that.
Covered, yes.
Right.
Because of those effects. It still doesn't belong in humans, but it'd be funny to be jank about it and just toss it in.
All right, Portcullis Vine is a green 0/3 defender, 2 tap, sacrifice a creature with defender, draw a card.
Yep.
I highly doubt that there's a like defender tribal deck, although we do have this and Arcadis.
Right.
But
build the wall.
That's
build
still not good
wall.
enough.
Build the wall. Build the wall.
Prey Upon reprint. It's Prey Upon. It's as good as it's always been.
Yep.
That's all there is to say
Target
about
creature
that.
you control fights target creature you don't control.
Yep.
Have your big creature kill their little creature.
Price of Fame. 3 black instant. This spell costs 2 less if you're targeting a legendary creature. Destroy target creature. Surveil 2.
Looks good.
It does look good, but I think the cost reduced part is going to come up a lot less frequently than it is. So in that case, evaluate it without that clause. It's 4 mana, destroy
murder.
target creature, surveil 2. I think that's not very good.
No.
So it specifically has to, you have to have an opponent or you have to have an opposing deck that has a lot of legends in it, or that has like a legend that you're going to see every game, so you can always kill it. I honestly think this is probably going to be relegated to limited.
No sideboard tech?
Yeah. Quasi Duplicate.
Have
1
not seen this
blue
card.
sorcery. Create a token that's a copy of target creature you control. Jumpstart.
Damn. Pretty interesting.
It's interesting, but it's also very bad.
Yep.
These effects are never good. We've seen effects like this before. This is one of the worst versions of this effect we've seen because it's sorcery speed.
And it's creature you control.
Creature you control and sorcery speed. Both of these combinations are not good.
Right. Moving along.
Radical Idea
I have beer in my
is a 1 blue instant draw card with Jumpstart. This card is not Think Twice. Think Twice, you didn't have to discard on its flashback. This card you do. So you're paying 4 mana to draw a card. That's what you're doing.
from mana draw. Yeah, because you're discarding one.
Yep.
Love the art.
Yep.
Pass.
Ral, is it Viceroy? 3 blue red, Planeswalker, 5 loyalty, +1. Look at the top 2 of your library. Put 1 into your hand and 1 into your graveyard. -3, it deals damage to target creature equal to the total number of instant and sorcery cards you own in exile and in your graveyard. And then a third ability that doesn't matter because it's the ultimate, and the ultimate doesn't matter.
When you cast an instant sorcery spell, this emblem deals 4 damage to any target, and you draw 2 cards.
Ultimate win the game, but it doesn't matter because you're not evaluating the card based on that.
Correct. Look at the top 2 cards of your library. Put one of them.
So sleight of hand or deal X, where X is your spell count.
I like sleight of hand on the body.
This card's okay.
Sideboard for control mirrors. I don't know. I don't know how to evaluate this card.
It's one of those template designs. It's the plus draw card, negative kill something.
It's fine.
It's fine. Yep.
I'm not gonna pretend to know what I'm talking about.
All right, we got Rampaging Monument is a 4 mana 0/0 artifact creature with trample. Enters the battlefield with 3 counters, and whenever you cast a multicolored spell, you put a +1 counter on it. And it's more limited card.
That's what it is.
It's a very limited card.
Yep. I'm stating facts right now, guys. This is the card that I like.
All right, Response or Resurgence.
There it is. Yes.
It is a 2 mana red-white hybrid for an instant that deals 5 damage to target attacking or blocking creature, or it's 5 mana red and white for a sorcery that gives all of your creatures first strike and vigilance until end of turn, and then you get an additional main and an additional combat.
I like this I like this card in the aggro and mid-range aggro decks. Response is great to just clear anything off their board that they're attacking, or if they're trying to chump, or they're trying to like block one of your tokens or something. You can just protect your like Legion War Boss with it before damage happens, and then late game you're able to just take 2 combats is really, really good.
So
especially with Aurelia.
So my question here, so it's again like Chance for Glory. It's another card that if you're playing it, you want to maximize on your at the beginning of triggers.
Right.
But these effects I'm always suspect of, and I cannot recall a time where an extra combat step spell has been good.
You the game.
Yeah, and it's because it's a spell where you already have to be in a good position to win with it.
Mm-hmm.
So Like you can play this, or you can just play like Demanding Dragon, where it's another threat that's probably going to have a similar function where it's getting you ahead in the game.
Demanding Dragon's so good, by the way.
So my question is then, is the other half of the card a good enough reason to play this? Because I think if the response part of the card didn't exist, the card would not be good.
No, it would not. I having both of them opens it up to being good.
So then the next question after that is this better than just playing like another threat, like playing Demanding Dragon?
Yes, because you're already running... Whatever deck this is going in, you're already running Demanding Dragon as it is. Demanding Dragon in the like mid-range aggro strategies...
Well, then how many 5-drops can you play, though?
You only... Like, I think I'm on 2 of this card and 2 Demanding Dragons. And that's like my 5. Because the curve's already too high on the 3 drops and 4. Obviously, the deck's still in like... its adolescent stage, but that's why like you test it. I've won just having this card because you end up clearing one of their creatures, and I've also won to like just grinding out the game and board state's pretty bad, and you just like draw and you're like, okay, cool, let's say 2 turns. Legion War Boss triggers twice, Aurelia triggers twice, and you just have like massive fucking creatures. I think the card is excellent. I think it's underrated. I think people aren't valuing it as much as they should. I want to be proven wrong, obviously. Yeah, I mean, time will tell. Let's see what happens.
All right. Rizome Lurcher is a 4-mana black and green 2/2. When it enters the battlefield with +1 counters on it equal to the number of creatures in your graveyard. So it's basically, so there was the other one that entered with counters, but that one was a haste. And this doesn't have haste. This doesn't have anything.
That art is beautiful.
Yeah. But it has no other abilities. It's just a big creature. Yeah. And the another thing is that 4-mana giant creatures are not good. They have to have something. Unless their power is like so gigantic that they will literally kill you in one hit if they connect. But
yeah, it's just a creature.
How many? Like, I guess you can have a ton of creatures in your graveyard, but like how much power does this have to have before it's good? Without having trample or anything.
6 counters.
No, 6 count. So it's an 8/8.
Yes.
Before it's good. I don't even think as an 8/8 it's good enough.
Damn.
Yeah. All right, where are we? Okay.
SalAmmi.
Righteous Blow. It's a reprint. We've seen it. Okay, got it. Or is it a reprint? It's the same as like Savage Claws or whatever the card's called from Ixalan. All right, Risk Factor. 2 red instant. Target opponent may have Risk Factor deal 4 to them. If they don't, they draw 3, and it has Jumpstart.
So, this is what's that modern card? This is already a modern card. Yeah, it's Browbeat.
Except it's an instant and it has Jumpstart.
I think because of that, I mean, clearly it makes it better. But does it make this card good enough to be unlimited? I don't know.
Unlimited, yes.
Sorry. Standard. I don't know.
I think also yes. I think it actually is good enough.
Okay, that's fair.
But it's not an aggro. But it's not an aggro card.
No,
it's a counter burn card.
Yes. Good card.
Ritual of Soot is a 4-mana black sorcery. Destroy all creatures with converted mana cost 3 or less.
The opposite of the white spell.
And I think this card is even more sucky.
Okay.
Because again, when you want a Wrath, you want a Wrath. And this doesn't Wrath.
Yep.
This kills small things. It is nice that it kills like Steel Leaf Champion.
Sure.
But at the same time, you're paying a 4 mana, it doesn't kill everything. Like what happens when, okay, so your opponent plays like, Lenore Elf, Steel Leaf Champion, and then Nullhide Ferox. And you go Ritual of Soot, and it kills their Lenore Elves and their Steel Leaf Champion, but not their Nullhide Ferox.
Yep, and then you're still like, shit.
Yeah.
All right, skip some cards on me. We don't have to go through all these.
Rock Charger, Rosemane Centaur. Is this one good enough to talk about?
It is a
Convoke
magic
Vigilance. Card. Yep. This thing. Okay, Runaway Steamkin. I want to talk about.
This card is very, 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 very interesting.
1 red, 1/1. Whenever you cast a red spell, if it has fewer than 3 counters on it, you put a counter on it, or +1 counter on it, and then you can remove 3 counters to add triple red to your pool. And everyone's all excited because you can put it in the modern Burning Tree Emissary Bushwhacker deck and try to like go off or play more spells. That deck is not good.
Correct.
And this card does not make that deck good.
Correct.
But it is interesting.
Yeah. I love the mechanic of this. I love that they're testing out this style. Like giving burn ramp this way is pretty.
Is it
cool.
good enough for standard?
I mean, standard surprises. It might be.
Because the thing is, you have to play 2 spells the turn after you play this for it to have a good enough rate.
To make it a 3?
Yeah.
That'd be fine.
Also, it reminds me of Heritage Druid.
Why?
Because it's like you play things, you generate 3 mana, and then you dump the counters off of it and play more stuff.
Fair enough. Yeah, interesting card nonetheless.
Yeah, requires testing to see if it's actually good.
Yeah.
All right.
Nope, trash.
Severed Strands. This card was previewed with only the top half shown initially. So it's a 1 black sorcery. As an additional cost to cast sack a creature, you gain life equal to its toughness. Destroy target creature and opponent controls.
Damn, dope. I like it in limited. I like it in the Golgari strategies.
Mm-hmm.
Like you mentioned earlier, like having sack outlets in those decks is really, really good. If that sack outlet provides you some form of life gain, that's awesome. So, decent card. It's worth testing.
Siege Worm got reprinted. Nothing much to say there. All right, Sinister Sabotage. It's dissolve, except instead of scrying, you surveil 1, which is better.
Way better. Rest in peace. Every other counterspell cancel effect.
Man, can you imagine, like, I cast something. In response, I sabotage it, and I surveil an Archamoeba into play.
Damn.
Yeah.
It's good.
So, yeah, this is going to be the counterspell of choice.
Or you mill the Helix.
Or you mill the Helix. I don't think that would be in the same deck, though. But anyway, this is going to be the counterspell of choice. I think this card's way better than Ionize.
Yep.
All right. What else?
Split card for sure. Just to talk about split cards.
Status to statue. Or statue. Status or statue. Black-green hybrid instant. Target creature gets +1 and death touch until end of turn. And 4 mana green-black instant. Destroy target artifact, creature, or enchantment.
I think it's fine. I think it's just fine.
The statue part of it, you have to have a reason to want to play this over Vraska's Contempt.
Correct.
In order to play that. So then the other thing that everyone's been bringing up is, well, you can combine this with Chain Whirler to plague wind your opponent. The mana is not good enough for that right now. It could be good enough once the next set is released.
Sure. No, yeah, I agree.
That, I think, is just like an added bonus. If you happen to have both of these cards in your deck, it's not a thing that you're actively working towards.
Budget mono black deck, this is fine.
Yeah.
Splashing green for the ability post sideboard is not too bad. Let's try to find another card.
All right. What else do we want to look at? Swarm Guildmage.
Yeah. I'm just trying to wrap it up so we don't make a 3-hour plus long video, which is already getting there.
So Swarm Guildmage is another Guildmage, and it's 4 black tap creatures you control get +1 and menace until end of turn. +1/+0 and menace until end of turn, or 1 green tap, you gain 2 life.
I like this better than the other ones. I like the end step ability of just gaining 2 life casually.
And then later you just overrun them.
Yeah, I think this is the best of all of them. So
for limited.
Yeah. For modern Ami, what are you talking about?
All right, Swiftblade Vindicator. It's a red-white human 1/1 that has double strike, vigilance, and trample.
Yeah, it's fine. I believe this card will be good and fine in standard. There's already like Voltron style decks.
Yeah, like the Danto Vanguard.
Yes,
Voltron, the auras on your guy decks.
Yeah, so like for those strategies.
Or you could potentially like pump it and then you attack and then thud your opponent with it.
And it's fine, but it doesn't belong in modern.
Because here's what it has to happen in modern for this to be good. So you play this, and then it's a 1/1. And then you can Thalia's Lieutenant it, but if you don't Thalia's Lieutenant it, it's a 1/1.
Yeah. It's also the 2-drop slot in modern for humans is your disruptive slot. That's where you want to play your melee mages, your Thalias, your freebooters to slow your opponent down. And this doesn't do any of that. So stop being bad, people.
All right. So this is the human I actually want to talk about for modern.
This is my favorite.
Tajik Legion's Edge. 1 red-white legendary human. 3/2 haste mentor. Prevent all non-combat damage that would be dealt to other creatures you control. And then red-white, it gains first strike until end of turn.
I like this card. I love this card. It helps grow your team. The Like, granted, yes, I get it. Everything still dies to Fatal Push, Ass Trophy, whatever. But being able to, like, just having a card that happens to be good against board sweeps and, like, lightning bolt effects is excellent.
So let's count up the number of ways this card's good. It's good on rate because it's a 3-power haste for 3.
Yes.
It immediately mentors something because it has haste.
Correct.
It prevents all the non-combat damage that would be dealt to your other creatures, so it protects your guys from Chain Whirler. It protects all of your other guys from Lightning Strike, Deafening Clarion, etc. And then it just randomly has this other first strike ability on it.
Which is very unfortunate that, like, the actual Modern Humans list can't activate this ability. And even with that said, I still think this is... It requires testing. Like, I will test this as a 1-of in the main board.
Well, the thing with humans is I just want to gut the mana base, because the mana base in humans sucks.
We're not having this conversation in front of people on me. Stick to the list. It's proven. It's fine. The mana base is okay. This card is worth testing along with the... like, the Autumn doesn't need... The Knight of Autumn does not need testing.
Because basically, it strikes me as, like, a worse Mantis Rider. It also, so humans gets really screwed hard by cards like Anger of the Gods, and this is an actually good card to play against that as opposed to Selfless Spirit.
Like, if I were to add this in, let's say today, to run into a tournament, I believe I will cut me either Phantasmal Image or Reflector Mage for this slot. But I think it'll be the Reflector Mage just because it's a 3-drop.
All right, is this card we're talking about? Take Heart.
We're getting people showing up already.
We got white. Instant target creature gets +2/+2 until end of turn. You gain 1 life for each attacking creature you control.
Token strategies, this is fine. It's great. Limited, it's fine.
It's kind of a nice anti-aggro card too.
Yeah. Besides that, it's whatever. Next. What are cards we actually should talk about?
Thief of Sanity. It is a 1 blue-black flying 2/2. When it deals combat damage to a player, you look at the top 3 cards of their deck, exile 1 face down, and put the rest in their graveyard. And then for as long as the card remains exiled, you can look at and cast it, and you may spend mana as though or mana of any type to cast it. So it's very reminiscent of Night Veil Spectre from Return to Ravnica. It, unfortunately, you can't play lands off of it, but you are also looking at the top 3, so you can probably take whatever's not a land from there.
And you can't play lands due to the wording of you may cast it instead of play.
Yeah. Really big downside, the other 2 cards go to their graveyard. Which, depending on... I mean, if the Golgari deck is a thing, this card's just absolutely unplayable against them.
I don't know. I don't care for this card, and I think that's, like, why I don't...
It's a card that can generate a lot of value, but at the same time, it's a 3-mana 2/2, and you have to connect with it.
Again, my default is I love the art. Besides that, moving along.
All right.
Next one.
Where are we going? Thoughtbound Phantasm.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so...
It's a blue 2/2 defender. Whenever you surveil, put a counter on it, and then as long as it has 3 or more counters on it, it can attack as though it didn't have defender.
I'm calling this card Delver of the Parish, meaning Delver of Secrets and Champion of the Parish, because this thing fucking grows. The defender part of it and the +1/+1 counter is not even a thing, because, like, this thing just grows so fast, and it's just a beater. This card is actually really, really good.
It doesn't have flying, which is weird because it looks like it has flying.
Yes. It looks like it should have flying. This is a great card. Everybody should consider running some kind of strategy around this.
It's also an absolutely atrocious top deck, though.
Yep. Oh, yeah. The Batman so is like Delver sometimes.
So you have to have... But the thing is, this is not just about playing spells. You have to have a ton of Surveil for this card to be good. Like, almost every spell in your deck has to be
That's
Surveil.
why I want them to change the font on Search for Escanta to just, at the beginning of your upkeep, Surveil 1.
Yeah, that's not happening.
I know. It won't ever happen. But that's essentially what you're doing, correct? With
Yeah.
Yeah, great card. I love it. I want to see it in the top 8. This is my card that I want. We're gonna see in the top 8.
I think this is a card that could be good. It could also be unplayable.
Correct. Nah. Skip a bunch of that trash.
Thought Erasure.
The Take Anything card.
Take Anything card, but it has Surveil on it. But the fact that it's 2 mana makes me pause.
Yeah, but it takes everything except the land. I think that helps it.
Yeah, but we've even seen there's a... I think the card's called Distress.
Yeah.
That was also a 2 mana Take Anything card, and that card never saw any play. So
the Surveil.
So does the Surveil make this playable?
Yes, I believe the Surveil does make this playable. I like this card. Whether it's going to be main boardable, I hope so. It is for sure a sideboard tech.
1,000-Year Storm.
I have not seen this damn card.
It is a 6 mana blue and red enchantment. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, copy it for each other instant and sorcery spell you've cast before at this turn. You may choose new targets for the copies.
Oh, cool. EDH.
Yeah, that's an EDH only card because you're not playing it anywhere else. This card, it's a 1 mana goblin, so I thought this might be playable here.
Dog, this card is funny.
1 mana, 1/1 haste, sack it. Another target creature gains haste until end of turn.
I think this is fine.
It's okay.
I think it's 100% fine. It reminds me of that meme with that little girl running with the yogurt bar. Funny, dude.
All right, Tristani Discordant.
Damn, hot.
It is a 5 mana green and white legendary 1/4. Other creatures you control get +1/+1. When it enters, create 2 1/1 white soldier creature tokens with lifelink. At the beginning of your end step, each player gains control of all creatures they own. So it's reminiscent of previous cards that we've had in Standard. Angel of Invention, Regal Caracal. This card is much worse than those cards because it doesn't have worthwhile stats.
Right.
It's only giving your other creatures the +1. It itself is not good stats. And the last ability is really weird. The only thing I can think that it works with is Connive Concoct.
Yeah.
Or
I thought that last ability was weird.
It randomly makes Hostage Taker less good.
Yeah. I guess they just needed another
Or Thief
keyword.
of Sanity. Like there's a bunch of random.
They just need another keyword to like justify making it a legendary and mythic.
Yeah.
I think.
But it strikes me that it's not good enough.
Yeah. Token strategies. This is just okay, but I don't think it's the great card.
All right, we got the Boros one, and it's basically Boros Reckoner, but 4 mana and has Mentor and 4 power.
Play this and then play the sorcery that deals 20 damage to all creatures, and you just win the game.
What is that? It's the Starve Extinction?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you just got to play your 4 mana creature, not have it die for 3 turns, and then play Starve Extinction.
Easy, man. Easy games of Magic.
Mm-hmm. Seriously, though, how good is that card in Standard?
That one?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really good.
Is it?
I think that board. I think it's fine. I mean, I haven't tested it because. Ooh, this card looks dope.
Undercity Necrolisp.
You have yourself a sack.
4 mana 3/3 black card. It has 1 mana sack another creature, put a counter on it, and it gains Menace. Activate only as a sorcery. But the fact that the sacrifice is not free also hurts it because the sack outlets that you usually want to sack a whole bunch of stuff all at once.
Yeah. And not having access to it is pretty bad.
Yeah. All right. Undercity Uprising.
First of all, amazing art.
Yep. It's got 1 black-green sorcery. Creatures you control gain Death Touch till end of turn. Then target creature you control fights target creature you don't control.
That's really cool. I see the way they set it up. So
it's just a limited.
Yeah, it's limited. What it does is it gives your stuff Death Touch, so then you can fight one of your tokens against their big creature and kill it.
And then attack with everything and anything that they block dies.
Yeah, that's pretty dope. Interesting.
All right. Underrealm Lich.
Ooh.
It's a 5 mana 4/3 zombie elf shaman.
Look how amazing it looks. If
you would draw a card, instead look at the top 3 cards of your library, then put 1 in your hand and the rest into your graveyard, and it has pay 4 life. It gains indestructible until end of turn and tap it. A lot of people are pretty high on this card, and I think this is another trap card.
You think
I think it's very reminiscent of cards like Gitrog Monster, where it's literally the same cost as Gitrog Monster, and it's one of those cards that it looks like it just has crazy value, right? Mm-hmm. Like, oh my god, it's this creature, and you play it, and then if you untap with it, you draw all these cards. But the problem is, it's a 5 mana 4/3 that does nothing when you play it. Can't block or attack into Chain Whirler profitably. It gets hit by Lightning Strike, and now yes, you can pay the 4 life to make it indestructible, but losing 4 life is a pretty steep cost to activating that. And then, so it's not really attacking or blocking effectively. It does nothing when it enters. And then, okay, let's say you untap with it and you draw a card and you get to filter. It's not even doing anything amazing if you untap with it. It's not like Lyra, right? Where Lyra doesn't do anything when it enters, but it blocks really, really well. Yep. And if you hit him with it, you're winning the game. This card, you untap with it, you filter some cards, and then you're not doing anything still.
That's true. That's interesting. That's a good call.
Mm-hmm.
I hadn't seen this card until today.
All right. Unexplained Disappearance is a 2 mana blue instant. Return target creature to its owner's hand with Surveil 1.
This will see play.
Yeah, it's fine.
100% will see play.
All right, Unmoored Ego.
All right. This card's interesting and deserves talking about.
1 blue black. Choose a card name. Search target opponent's graveyard hand library for up to 4 cards with that name. Exile them. Then the player shuffles their library and draws a card for each card you exiled from their hand this way.
Standard sideboard? Yes.
So this is the most. So of these like memory side effects, this is the most flexible of all of them because it can take anything.
Yes.
And it's also got the worst downside.
Which is?
They draw cards equal to the number of cards you
if
made
it's in their hand.
Exiled. No. Just
Exiled.
for each card. Oh, from their hand this way.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, it's not as. Yeah. It's a lot better than that.
So it's Lost Legacy-ish.
Yes. So I like this card. I mean, I just want to jump straight into the modern aspect of it.
Yeah. Okay. So it exiles Tron lands, but again,
Correct.
Tron
will still beat the hell out of you.
They will still just naturally play their lands
Yes,
and kill you. So the best deck that this is against is Valakut, where you just take their Valakut and they can't kill you anymore.
Can't kill you. I mean, they have Primeval Titan, but as long as you have remove 1 creatures, you win.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I totally agree. I was just gonna make that argument. Like against Tron, this is still medium. Tron can still play their stuff and kill you. Against Valakut, this is excellent. So I love the art on it too. Kind of creepy.
I mean, it's good. It's flexible.
I like it. Standard.
In standard, these effects normally don't see much play, right? Because usually there's not a deck that revolves only around one thing that you need to get rid of.
No, but
occasionally you'll get like
there's
Approach of the
also-
Second Sun.
There's also like things that your deck can't deal with. So like imagine you're on a blue-black deck or a Grixis style deck that can't deal with enchantments. Being able to play this and get rid of all those enchantments like is actually fine.
I think that's usually not fine. I think the only times these effects are good in standard is again, it's when you have decks that they entirely revolve around a single thing. So for example, I could see you take all the Teferis.
That's fair.
There's a good use for that.
All right.
Because basically Teferi decks usually just lose once
Okay.
Teferi doesn't
Sounds
exist
good.
anymore.
All right, let's speed up. Let's do another like 2 cards and wrap it up.
All right, Urban Utopia. We'll just go through this quickly. 2 mana, enchant land. When it enters, draw a card. Tap, add 1 mana of any color. It's a perfectly fine fixing
That's
card
fine.
if you need that. What else do we got? Venerated Loxodon. Whoops.
Oh, you clicked on opening Photoshop. Just click on the back.
Right.
Click on the background. Yeah, I'll close that bitch. Minimize it if you can. There it is.
All right. Venerated Loxodon.
Another elephant that has Convoke, and I like this.
Yeah, 4 white Convoke, 4/4. When it enters the battlefield, you put a +1 counter on each Convoker.
I think this card is great. I think this card is great in the strategy decks that it will see play in.
Yeah.
So in the strategy of token decks, this is 100% fine. Like, I think any player would gladly tap 5 of their 1/1s or 2/2s to put a +1/+1 counter on them. And this is like 100% excellent.
I agree.
Great card and limited, and it should see standard play. If you're in a token deck and you're not running that card, you're doing something wrong.
All right. Vraska Golgari
Yes.
Queen.
So we have 2 Veraskas in standard now, and I think they both should be in
We
the
have
same.
3 Vraskas in standard.
I mean, we have 2 good Veraskas in standard.
So this is a 4 mana, 4 loyalty, +2. You may sacrifice another permanent. If you do, you gain 1 life and draw a card. -3, cast Abrupt Decay.
Yeah.
And then ultimate whatever.
Yeah.
This card needs tokens to be good.
Yes.
Because the +1, you can't like sacrifice lands or
Yes.
other cards that you've spent mana to cast.
Yeah. No. I mean, either way, it's 100% great. This card should be played. Like we mentioned earlier, like some form of like Obzon tokens.
Yeah.
This will be excellent because you get to run both Veraskas. One Vraska makes the tokens. This one can sacrifice them.
Can this see play in Modern Abzan? Because you have Lingering Souls?
So what ended up happening is when the card got leaked, you know, like anything, I mean, I've been joking that every time a human comes out, people say, this is in humans. For Obzon, this was one of those that was actually considered and taken very serious because of that strategy. The Abrupt Decay effect is still relevant. I mean, keep in mind, you're going to be adding Ass Trophy as well. And attacking with Lingering Souls and flashbacking it and sacrificing one isn't a bad idea. It gives you like what Obzon doesn't have. It's like the draw. Usually you just like jam.
It has tireless trackers, like it's only tireless tracker and Dark Confidant.
Correct. So and also tireless tracker and this actually synergize well together. You can get a token and then just sacrificing the token to this draws you a card, and he still gets the counter because he says whenever you sacrifice a token, put a +1 counter on him. So you don't get the draw effect for him but you get the draw effect for her, and he still gets pumped. So there's a lot of like good reasoning on why to run this for Abzan in Modern. I could be 100% wrong. This could just be totally trash and it fucking ruins the deck, but it's totally worth testing out. So, good card, worth trying. What's the last card we want to talk about? Or should that have been the last card since everything else is trash?
So let's get rid of this here. I did want to see Whisper Agent, I believe. It's a 1 blue-black hybrid, blue-black hybrid. It's a 3/2 with flash, and it has when it enters, surveil 1.
I like this for limited. It's pretty dope.
I think it's even potentially playable in standard.
Yeah, I think it's fine for standard. You get to vampire. I mean, what do you call it? Ambush Viper or something?
Yeah, ambush or thing surveil.
Yeah,
that's fine. Or you just play it in like a blue-black control deck, and then you hold up your counter spell, and if they don't play anything with counter slash removal, and you just splash this.
This is also good against like control mirrors.
Yep. Then we've got another surveil payoff card.
Another dude with the massive
snitch.
big head.
Yeah.
I think they're doing this on purpose, aren't they?
Yeah.
The big old heads.
So we've got 1/3. Whenever you surveil for the first time each turn, it deals 1 damage to each opponent, and you gain 1 life. So you can't like turbo surveil them because it's only once per turn, but it's okay.
That's okay. All right. Guess that's our last card there.
Actually, hang on. So this is a big head card. It was Jason Rainville.
Yeah.
What's the other one called? Hunted something?
Yeah. It's alphabetical order, so.
Hunted Witness. Is this the same artist? Nah.
Nope. David. Vampire Rogues. Maybe the vampires in this set have massive ass heads.
All right, and I think that's... Oh, no. I did want to talk about World Soul Colossus as being the last card.
Ooh, the X card.
X Convoke. Green white with Convoke. It enters with X+1 counters on it.
All right. So how big does this have to be for it to be good on me?
So let's see.
I think because it's going to be a free spell, this card's just okay.
You have to play 2 for it. Well, actually, you don't have to pay 2 for it regardless because you have Convoke.
Yeah, Convoke.
So let's say you have 3 creatures, 3 mana, or 3 creatures, 4 mana. It's a 6/6 or a 7/7.
Mm-hmm.
But it still, again, doesn't have trample, doesn't have any way of
Correct.
pushing through damage, and that's the problem.
And that's how you evaluate cards, people.
Mm-hmm.
All right. With that said, I want to thank everybody for tuning into this 3-hour-long broadcast. I mean, we still finished at the time we thought we were going to be. Have fun at pre-release. Check us out, Collector Legion. We do streams here every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I have Ami here next to me. I'm Salvador. Together we are SalAmmi.
Yep.
And thank you guys for watching. Enjoy the rest of your day.
All right, and we hope to be back doing this again for the next set.
With better camera quality.